welcome to the Horror Hangout, a podcast where film fans watch the best and worst horror movies of all time and talk about them. My name is Ben Errington, and today I'm joined by regular co-host Mr.
Andy Conduit Turner. Hello, Ben. How are you?
Hello, mate. You're back. Glad to
I
see
am
you.
back.
I'm
I had a
glad.
lovely time listening to you and Ash while I walked around America's JFK airport. It was a nice time.
You did. Well, I
Yeah,
liked. I liked it. So I was there with you in spirit, inside your little
you
ear.
were. You were.
Delightful. Um, and we're joined today by a very, very special guest. Mikel Iriarte is a director, writer, producer, actor, and casting director. Some would call him the Swiss Army knife of filmmaking. It is. Well, I've said your name. Hello, Mikel.
Hey, how you doing?
Hello,
Good to
man.
be here.
Yeah, nice to
How's it
see you
going?
again.
Yeah, how are you guys? So you just got back from a big trip in the States.
I did. It wasn't a filmmaking trip. It was a regular day job trip, but it
Oh,
was still
that
very
was a job
entertaining.
trip.
Still a good time.
Good.
It was a
Yeah.
business trip, Mr. Business over there.
I was off doing some business. We did, as well as doing business, take some lovely food donations to a local food bank as well. So I did a
Oh my
nice thing
God.
as well as corporate business.
That's a lovely
I
thing.
thought
I
you were
wasn't
going to
trying to.
end with take lovely food donations. Like that was it
Yeah,
was you getting
I
donated
was
the food. I
accept.
was like, that's good. That's still good.
I did take donations of food while I was there, but it was mostly not a donation, more so like a financial exchange in exchange for money from the good restaurants and other hospitality
Good of them.
Did
Good of them to
you?
do that.
industries of South Carolina.
Did you drive a dusty old car around to any gas stations, shoot up the place, try and cross the border in an RV, take a family hostage?
Seems
Um,
customary.
yeah, as is customary, and then I described how I was going to kill a gas station attendant. Right, you shoot out them bottles, and then in a minute I'm going
That
to
was
burn
good
him
though.
up.
I like that. That was good.
Pretty
It's
Oh,
good.
ingenious.
Love a little set piece.
Mikkel, so we obviously met you at Screams by the Sea,
Yeah.
which was already
Well,
over a month ago.
yeah, it feels like a while ago, doesn't it,
How
already?
time has
How time flies.
flown. That was fun,
But
wasn't it?
yeah, I was there like festival managing, and Raddy and I go way back. He appeared on a shoot that I was producing once, as a spark, and then
Oh.
he was amazing. He was an absolute talking about Swiss Army knives of a film set. Raddy definitely encapsulates that,
Hmm.
and so it was just hugely useful on set, and then we became friends. And yeah, funnily enough, he ended up like coming to quite a few of the festivals with us on the circuit. And I think it's probably the only time that a Spark has been up on stage to talk about the film, which is great. And he dived straight in. You know what like, Raddy's like.
Oh
So
my God,
Yeah,
yeah. His
yeah.
energy is unreal. Like,
I don't know how he does it, but he's got it in spades, isn't he? He's hiding it
he
all
certainly
somewhere.
has.
he's got it in spades, absolutely. I feel I feel like any fear you have of public speaking is scared of him, to be fair.
Yeah,
It's just like, what? Shut up, mate.
Yeah,
he is absolute, a tour de force of
Great,
human
he,
filmmaking.
he's
great
the
way to
And
he's the
describe him.
full package, really. Like so much energy as well. And I'm no stranger to public speaking. Can't be half as positive as Reddy as well. I'm too full of cynicism. But he's always out there with such good energy, and it was great to see him at the festival. Mikhail, any films from Screams by the Sea that have stuck with you, stuck in the old brain cage
Well,
since we've been there?
I didn't get to watch any.
Oh
I
no!
was running around
Too
like blue
busy.
ass fuck. So I had already seen what was the closing film called? It's
Strange
just
Darling?
Strange
yes,
darling. Yeah.
Strange Darling. I'd seen Strange Darling before at another festival, and yeah, and so that was my recommendation. Also, really fascinating film. But yeah, I didn't actually get to watch anything on the day because I was busy pestering you
Very,
guys
very
mainly,
busy.
Yeah, too busy
Pestering.
trying to
working.
drag you over.
I mean,
Pestering
now
us,
you've
but you know
mentioned
what?
it.
It never felt like pestering.
No,
Oh,
it
bless
was
you.
it was good times. Strange Darling, I never thought I'd see the day. I know it's a slightly bigger release than some of the independent films we watch, but in terms of making it to the mainstream, on my trip to the US, it was on the plane.
Oh,
You
what?
could watch
Oh,
you could
right.
watch Strange
Okay.
Darling
I
on the
really
flight
don't
I
think
was
that's a
on.
film to watch on a plane.
I was sat next to a little boy, so I did not watch it on the way back.
You weren't like, I'm alone in this. You're
Yeah,
like,
This is
get some of this up
interesting.
your
I'll tell you, you should have
no.
watched From Dusk Till Dawn. Got a little kid sitting in
That'd
front
have
of you.
been absolutely. Look at these behaviors.
Oh my God. We will get
Take
into it, but I was super young when I saw From Dusk Till Dawn, and I think I've definitely mentioned the experience of watching it. But we'll get to it, and I'll explain. But yeah, it's one of my favorites, but also probably one of the earliest horror films I think I'd seen alone. At least I think I'd seen horror films like with my parents and stuff, but this was the first one I'd seen alone. So
For
it
him to say the
affected.
context, for your parents to tell you now, don't be doing any of these things. Like,
If someone pours a bottle of whiskey down her leg straight onto her foot, which obviously Tarantino requested, I think I need another take. Actually, I think my eye line was slightly off.
I
I'm
didn't get a
so
big
sorry.
toe far enough in my mouth on that take.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
I actually
Yeah.
I watched it opposite end of the spectrum. I watched it with my mum, and she's still a massive fan. When I told her I was doing this, she was like, "Oh, let's watch it again."
oh
She was
hell
like, "I
yeah,
don't think I've seen it since the first time."
yeah.
She's really into it. She's nudging you when Selma Hayek goes like, "Oh, look at that."
Come on, Selma, give it to him.
She loves it. Yeah, it was a full on family affair when we watched it, and it was my sister, my
Oh
mum's
yeah.
boyfriend, and I think at a certain point, I must have been super young as well, but at a certain point, I got a little bit. I just think I didn't know what to make of it,
How
and
mu- can you
sorry,
imagine? Sorry, Mikel. I was just gonna say, can you imagine what going into it and not knowing what you're in for?
I don't think any of us knew what we were in for. I think my sister had rented it from
Yeah,
Blockbusters because it had George Clooney in it, so
yeah.
none of us knew what we were in for,
So
and
not
then.
like a famous horror face at this point at all,
No,
and
no,
still
no. I
not.
think she'd seen ER or a poster and been like, "That's a good-looking man. I could,
Because
I could watch
looking at
that
it,
for
Can't
it
wait
just
for
a couple
Batman
hours."
Forever in a couple of years.
because with everybody involved, Robert Rodriguez, Quentin Tarantino, you do just kind of think it was nice. Was it 96, 95 it came out? Was it 96?
Yeah.
You do just think it's just going to be a crime thriller, like a gritty grindhouse-esque crime thriller. I don't know. Was it advertised as a horror? I mean, I guess it must have been to try and get the right sort of
Well,
crowd in.
like that's one of the cinema posters, and like it's got
Yeah,
a bit of an
bats.
inkling, isn't it? Like it's got the red, it's got bats, but it's not. Yeah, it's not. It was. I don't think it was fully sold as a horror at the time.
No.
Um, so it surprised a lot of people, and I think it was, yeah, one of the first sort of big budget mainstream films that did that
Mm,
full blown
full blown
genre flip
like a
in it
180.
halfway
Yeah.
through.
Oh well,
Yeah.
And I
I
think
might
we
as well.
need to talk about as well, like the double header that this film starts with. George Clooney, famous actor, and Quentin Tarantino, a very famous name in film, but not on this side of the camera. I mean, usually he rocks up, says the N word a couple of times, and then he's off again. But
Yeah. Oh
this
God.
time he's in it quite a lot.
Yeah.
He, he's got more screen time than he probably should have.
Yeah. But yeah, I think he does creepy wrong'un very well. Like, and whether what
He-
that means, I don't know. Like he is every time he's like glaring at Juliette Lewis, you're a bit like, oh God,
And
mate.
he wrote the screenplay, right? Or co-wrote the screenplay.
Yeah.
I think he did straight up write it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, oh, man, like I mean, say what you want about him, he keeps everything, very upfront about things. He could have just liked Feet on his own time and not put it in there, but he was like, I, playing this character that I've written, have a really long look at
He
a
clearly
toe
doesn't.
that's the second one's bigger than the first one. What was the
Clearly
thing at
doesn't.
your school like that? Just to make sure you could feel as body conscious as you could in PE, with anything. But the thing about feet was like if your second toe is bigger than your big toe, you're an alien or you've
I guess that's if there's no webbed toe kids in your year
Yeah.
group,
yeah.
then that's what they pick on. You got the big
There's
Yeah.
the
always
big
one web
second
toe
toe.
kid who you can deflect attention to. Don't wait for it. Look at him. Look at stay at that.
But then they just
Jesus.
challenge you to a swimming race and it's over.
Ah.
Bloody hell, Michael Phelps. Um, so I mean, I guess as you mentioned your experience with it, Mikel, I will also mention I watched this film on mute. So I used to watch horror films on like BBC Two or like Channel 4 on mute because my mum was like a bat. I would say she's like if she heard
She's like the old
anything,
man from Don't Breathe.
yeah, she'd be like, "Turn that bloody TV off," and I was like, "Oh fucking hell!" But so I watched it on mute, but like with subtitles on, and I probably like
Or
about five or
teletext, the old
six.
888.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So yeah, I remember watching this. All I remember, like, is it what's his name? The guy who appears in it, free times. Cheech Marin.
Beach Marine,
Cheech
yeah,
Marin, yeah. So I remember seeing his whole pussy monologue, like just in text form, like before I ever heard
Writing
it.
it down to say it at school tomorrow.
Yeah. But I remember like there was something creepy about watching films like on silent with I don't know what it was. Like anytime
yeah.
there's even a little noise behind you, you're like Jesus Christ, fucking hell.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I remember I recorded the thing off the TV, and first time I watched it, it had like almost like a tone going through it, and I was like, "That's really eerie, like really
oh
clever
God,
sound design."
yeah.
I must have been like a young teenager, and then after watching it again, I was like, "There is no
There
tone.
is
That
no
was just
tone.
like a hiss on the recording." And I was so clever. That is really eerie.
That's
That
great. I'm gonna add a
That's because
hiss to
I've
everything I
recorded
make
this
from
on
now on.
long play. I've recorded this on long play to get more time out of it, and I've recorded over this tape 800 times.
Yeah, it's just struggling to stay
That is the
together.
celluloid gripping on for dear life.
Oh man. So, Mikhail, you've been making films for quite a while, haven't you? Well, you've been involved
yeah,
in filmmaking for quite a while. Can you tell us
yeah,
something
yeah,
about how
yeah.
you got started, or maybe like what you or anything
I
recent that you've made that
Yeah,
you?
well, I mean, I guess like I started because it was when I was like doing GCSEs and I was trying to find ways to procrastinate efficiently
Yeah.
so that I could then focus my time revising and I'd always been like a kid that would pour through the TV guide in the film section and just like read about every film, sort of like, and you know, family and friends of the family would use me as a bit of a party trick, like, oh, who directed that film? Oh, what year was that made? Oh, who's in that?
Oh
And I just
wow.
regurgitate it all. And then I realized that they actually made magazines that were entirely dedicated to film, and so that dawned on me.
Oh
So I
wow.
started buying, I think it was Empire magazine, as a process to do this like active procrastination. That and loads of Lego, and
Nice.
then yeah, they had a short film competition in there, and so I started like it went into behind the scenes of how you would make a film and on no budget, and it really sparked an interest. So I never actually entered the competition, but then there was like a local youth project through my youth club that was a filmmaking project, and that was what got me on my first set. And then
Oh
I was
wow.
16 at that time, and then I worked with the production company for years afterwards. Ended up casting their first feature film just after leaving uni, and yeah, just sort of caught the bug really, and um, yeah, I've been doing it ever since with deviations through life of um, yeah, working in different sectors, like work a lot in education and then yeah, kind of made it my full-time gig. I was an anti-piracy agent for film at one point. I've worked in distribution, I've
Were
worked in film.
you? Did you hear that apparently they nicked the font recently? Did you hear about this?
The font for
You know the font for like the you wouldn't steal a. I'm getting
oh yeah,
confused.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That font is stolen. It's
Apparently that
used
font is
used from Scream 2. It's from
that font is
Scream.
Yeah,
stolen
oh really?
apparently, and but apparently they didn't have the rights for it, so they've recently been. I don't know. It was just in the
That's
press
amazing.
recently.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Comes full circle. You
but
wouldn't steal a font,
you
but you
wouldn't
would
steal a
steal.
bloody font. Yeah, you would, wouldn't you?
Well, actually, that's
Yeah,
proven their
you
point. So you wouldn't steal physical items, but intellectual property, go nuts,
A font's
apparently.
bloody. I
would.
mean, a font. Come on, it is a scream font, isn't it?
Someone worked on that, Ben. Someone with
Yeah, I
quill and
know.
ink wrote that
A
font.
graphic designer as well. They've got
Someone
their
like you,
Well
one of
skills.
your lot.
Someone like
done.
me, and I don't care. But you said you were teaching as well, Mikhail. You said.
Yeah, yeah. So I've done a lot of teaching, and then during the lockdown, actually, like qualified as a teacher. So did my training
Wow,
during lockdown, which is
that's
pretty
amazing.
nuts. Yeah, plenty of horror stories or inspirations for horror stories.
Yeah, I bet.
But uh, but yeah, and then yeah, lot of advertising. Advertising is what pays the bills really, and then trying to make things for the love of it around that. So I've done a lot of well, kind of started off making my own films and then went into first ADing. So first AD'd
Wow.
a lot of indie shorts and features, and then into producing from there. So I've been more focused on producing, and now that I'm kind of picking up that regular education paycheck, I'm trying to get writing again. So
Mm.
yeah,
Oh wow.
but still doing bits and bobs where I can fit them in.
Yeah. So obviously your short Dead of Night as well. That was completed last year. Is that right?
Yeah, so it was it's been on it premiered at Fright Fest last year, and it's been doing the rounds. It's a very, very calling it a short film is quite uh, uh, an accolade. I think it's more of a glorified camera test. um, my friend bought a Steadicam and wanted to have a go at, at using it. He was like, just write anything. And yeah, nature of filmmaking often is the trickiest thing to lock in is location. So I was like, let's set it in my house that I was living in at the time in Manchester. And yeah, it was a very small house. And so that was kind of the trick is like, how can we extend a long take, but hide things that then when you go back over them revealed or whatever. So it was it was a lot of fun. Yeah, it's just one long extended take. I mean, long. It's like 2 minutes, but
Yeah.
working in that space and yeah,
It
so
must have been
almost like
difficult though.
yeah,
It
it was
must have been
difficult. But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Um,
What do you do with
yeah.
stuff like that? Do you just like shoot it a certain amount of times and then go, well, that was the best?
Yeah, we shot it. I think we shot it about 10 times over the course of a night. And there's a lot of coordination because we had people inside the house and outside the house as well.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
so that was quite complex to reset. And obviously we didn't have any permits for outside, and we had a guy dressed as a monster stood in the street on a council estate in an Asda car park. And so,
No
we'd have
one
to
would have
send
known anything different. No one would
at
have
one
gone,
point,
what is
somebody
that?
did walk past, so they were just like,
Should have
"Seems
just put a
normal."
charity bucket in his
Him
hand when
again?
only someone walked past.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Collect him for
He
all
had
air
long
ambulance.
fingers
Leave
as
him alone.
well. Yeah, so that was a wild night.
Yeah, I bet it was.
Um, but yeah, no, and then we actually we cheated a little bit because I had the how to call it the rugged pleasure of being an extra in 1917.
Oh
And so
wow.
I got to see how they actually
Oh,
made
okay.
it and
Yeah.
how they and there wasn't really a lot of rhyme or reason behind it. I was expecting that they'd come up with some new technology. Oh, they can do
Yeah.
this now. But we go from one week to another, and the ADs would come with the previous frame from a week ago, and then they'd adjust us all
Oh,
into the
what?
exact positions, and they'd be taking cigarettes out of people's mouths and being like, "No, it was hard. You'd smoked half of that." Like readjusting, saying it
Go on,
here, and
smoke. It's that point now.
go on, chug, chug. I after doing 1 day smoking cigarettes, I was like, I'm not smoking these cigarettes. So I brought in my pipe, which I was like, obviously there'd be
Nice.
pipes. And not enough people have a pipe these days. But I was like, look, I can pack it or not pack it. I don't have to smoke every take now.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to absolutely cane my throat by
Yeah.
smoking 10 cigarettes in
Oh.
a couple of hour period.
But then they
I'm
just
gonna
have
go
to
back
go
and
in,
look
go
at
in.
1917. Look for a man with a pipe.
They just have to
Oh,
go
I
in
got
and
that. I got the frame. I'm like, I've got the perfect frame. I'm only in it for one frame.
oh man. They had to
To
go in
me,
and digitally put in the smoke though, because they were like, his pipe's not even bloody smoking. Don't even
what an
look
idiot. But
Oh
that
man.
actually, so seeing how they did that made me realize when we were, because we had like the best of one take in one part of it, and then the best
Yeah.
of another take in another part of it. And so I was like, well, how difficult would it be to animate? Like, it's not like we're doing World War I trenches in the
Yeah.
bright daylight. It's just a dark corridor.
Mm.
So I actually went to a friend in Laura, who's an amazing editor and just all round kind of like film comrade. And yeah, she was able to stitch two shots together. And then I was like, "There's also a really nice shadow in the rehearsal. Could you map
Ooh.
that on as well?" And she managed to do it. So
Oh, there we go.
Nice.
it's a combination of 3 takes, but it all looks like a oneer. It's.
Yeah.
I mean, we did it as a oneer. We never intended to do that, but as we were watching the rushes, it was just
Yeah.
like there's different bits that have
Mm.
different appeal and they work in different ways. So let's get the
I
best
also
out of it.
find when something's done in one take, like obviously it's commendable, and I'm like, oh my God, that's absolutely amazing. Can't even begin what must have gone into that. But at the same time, I'm just looking out for stuff more so
Yeah,
than I
yeah,
am like in anything else, and it doesn't ruin the experience, but like you do go, wow, well, there was a dark room they walked into, then there could easily be a take hidden there.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just
Well, I think that like I haven't watched Adolescence recently. I mean, it's not horror. We're going off topic.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
all right.
So
That's
yeah,
fine. Adolescence is a
Adolescence,
great connection.
oh, fantastic, and how they did that, and like, so I got a lot of friends because I went to film school up north, and And so I got a lot of friends who worked on it who were in the AD department, in the locations department, and so they dressed in all the ADs. So actually, all the ADs were teachers in the second
Oh, I
episode.
see.
Like, were in the playground because they were
Yeah,
actually shouting at people, telling them where to be.
yeah.
But
That's
but what I
that's
really
ingenious, really,
admired
isn't it?
was there was like a few parts of the shots where they moved the rig from one apparatus to another. For
Yeah.
example, the drone shot, or in I think it's the final episode, there's like a low loader, which is the rig that goes on a car. So it's the car's actually there, not driving. Somebody else is driving another car that it's all
Mm.
rigged into with like a scaffold bridge. And obviously they can't lock it and secure it in the same way if they're trying to do it in a rush. And so it rattles throughout. But actually, like the bravery to just be like, yeah, we're just going to leave it like that. It actually kind of heightens the tension in the scene. Yeah, I thought it was genius.
Yeah.
Like, and yeah, it's
Yeah.
so tricky when you try to achieve that, and you're like, the
Uh,
best bit
yeah. I did
there it
I
is.
did see that drone shot actually. Like they went through the window, didn't they? And then they went out the school and then attached it to the drone, like
It's
for a
crazy.
handheld.
I
Yeah,
mean,
it's crazy.
yeah,
I don't know
the
if you've
the
seen have
drone
you
must have been huge.
yeah. Have you seen the film Mads as well, which was on Shudder like late last year? That's
I'm
all in
meaning
one
to
Mm.
take
watch
as well.
Mads.
That's all in one take, but
Oh,
another similar experience, and I'm just like, how? You know, you're just like, how?
is that a
But
winner as well then?
yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. I'm pretty sure it's the
Wow.
one. Or it's
Yeah, yeah,
advertised as that at least. Like maybe, yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. But
yeah.
what is it like? It's a French zombie horror, one shot. It's like 85 minutes, something like that.
Yeah,
Which
need to
Wow.
get and
is
watch it.
still a lot, isn't it? Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I've got to check that out.
Can't
It's been
believe
on
it.
my radar. Right? It's got a weird it's got a weird concept, isn't it? I read it and I was
Yeah.
like, this sounds freaky. Sounds
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I'd be
yeah.
in.
Definitely freaky. Definitely worth checking out. Okay,
Yeah.
so before we get into From Dusk Till Dawn, let's just briefly touch on a few pieces of horror news from this week. We've got a couple of new trailers. We've got a trailer for the movie Together, which is some sort of cosmic body horror thing with Alison Brie and Dave Franco. The trailer literally just dropped a couple of hours ago, I think. Don't know if anyone's had the chance to see it yet.
I
Oh
haven't, but
yeah,
it's
I
been on my
saw a
radar.
poster.
Yeah. So it's like it says it's a unique blend of awkward romantic comedy and cosmic body horror. Really like talking about the codependencies of relationships. So I mean, it looks really cool. It looks like it's got loads of really unique ideas in it as well. And I think Alison Brie, whenever I see her in anything, I'm always like, I love Alison Brie. And Dave
Alison
Franco
Brie is so
is
good.
always good. Like since Glow got cancelled by Netflix, I don't think I've ever been the same. So
Such
I've
a great
definitely
show.
never been the same.
It's the true and main casualty of COVID, right? Was Glow.
Yeah,
They
that
had
was
one season
disastrous.
left, and that's it. They didn't actively cancel it for not being good enough, right? It was just that there's so many people whose profile is growing
Yeah,
when they weren't able to do that last season. They were like, we're never going to get all these people back together now. Sorry.
yeah, that was pretty much it. Because
It's
I
such
think
a
like
huge,
loads of the main
such
stars were like leading films and just tons of different things, and yeah, everyone was taking off.
it's such a huge ensemble. Have you guys watched the documentary that's based on?
I've seen some YouTube clips of
It
some of
Wait,
it's amazing.
the
no, wait, I
actual
think I
original
have.
Glow.
I think I have
It,
because there's a few
it's
like
really
rest.
amazing. Yeah, yeah. It is the good. Like it's all based on a real thing, and
Yeah,
like I mean, the characters aren't exactly the same, but yeah,
no.
the women that are a part of it, they're just such
Mm,
troopers, and they were doing something so bold and so just like kicking Vince McMahon square in the face, which everybody wants to do.
hell yeah.
Um, yeah, and yeah, the documentary is great. Highly recommend.
There's a few like things about female wrestlers, including Queen of Villains, which I've not seen on Netflix, like a show about a Japanese pro wrestling company, and also the Queen of the Ring, which I think is might be out this month, which I really want to check out. But yeah, Glow was fantastic. I really enjoyed that. But yeah, this looks good. So a brief synopsis of this is years into their relationship, Tim and Millie find themselves at a crossroads as they move to the country, abandoning all that is familiar in their lives except each other. Tensions flare and a nightmarish encounter of a mysterious, unnatural foe threatens to corrupt their lives, love, and their flesh. Oh,
Okay,
my
all
flesh
three
is
of those things.
corrupted. Yeah, I mean, from watching the trailer again, I don't think it gives too much away, but it looks like they start to become very codependent in more ways than one, and I think their bodies start to maybe stick together in
We get glued
different
together
ways.
like in that test
Tell,
screening film.
or Color Out of Space as well. I was thinking.
I was thinking Color Out of Space, where she
Yeah.
merges with is it a llama?
Oh God, I
Oh,
can't. You
like
know,
alpacas or
A
something on the
llama.
farm, isn't it? Yeah.
what was it? Was it a llama?
I think
It's like
it's a llama.
some sort of farm creature, right?
God
How
knows what it's by the end.
do I not remember that? I felt like that should have stuck with me, but maybe not.
Very messed
Um,
up, that movie. Great.
oh yeah,
Eldritch horror is always trying to meld people together.
yeah, I
He
know.
loves it, doesn't he? Loves it.
He
Loves
loves all that. Um,
melt all together. A lot of melty people in Dust Till Dawn as well, actually.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, loads of melty people. Like what I like about From Dusk Till Dawn is like the variety of the different vampire. One of them's just got like a mouth in its stomach as
Yeah,
well. Just
one of my faves.
yeah, but I love that mouth in the stomach one. Okay, so another trailer, Fear Street Prom Queen. So obviously there was that trilogy of Fear Street movies which are on Netflix. Like what we saying, 2 or 3 years ago, Andy? Do you think it was about then?
It was COVID, wasn't it? It was
Was
2020.
it COVID? Was it 2020? Bloody hell.
Yeah.
But there's a new one
Back
coming
end
out
of
called
2020, I think.
okay. New one coming out called Prom Queen on May 23rd. Oh, Together is out on July the 30th, by the way. I didn't mention that. Prom season at Shayside High is underway, and the school's wolf pack of it girls are busy with its usual sweet and vicious campaigns for the crown. But a gutsy outsider is unexpectedly nominated to the court, and the other girls start mysteriously disappearing. Didn't mean to start welling up there. It's not.
Uh-oh.
And the other
Emotional
girl,
story.
yeah. I don't know. There's like the image on the trailer is kind of like someone in a red Mac, almost looks like Don't Look Now, um,
Mm.
and a creepy like mask. Looks like one of the band members of Ghost, I would say. You know, like the kind of like silver looking mask. Did you see the First Street movies, Mikel? Did you see them?
I've not seen them. Yeah, no. I get told a lot about them by my students. So it's right on my students'
Mm,
street, right,
They
right
go
up there.
far harder than you would expect, I would say.
yeah,
Really, because
Yeah.
them recommending it puts me off. I'm not gonna
yeah.
lie. I don't know what it is, but I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. I had real
No,
slash.
it goes
We
far
had
harder
real
than you would
slashers in my
expect.
day. Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry, Andy. What did you say?
Yes, it goes far harder than you'd expect. I think the first one is especially good, and then
Yeah,
all of them are at worst fine. The
yeah,
first one's the first one I found pretty good in the first place, and then the third one loses me a bit on the terrible accents that they do. But
Right.
yeah. There's like,
yeah,
is it like an 80s one, a 70s one, and then like a 1660 one or
it's like
something
a
like that?
90s, so it's like a 90s one, very sort of scream coded, and then the 70s one is very Friday the 13th, and
Yeah,
then
and then there's like
the second one is a
the
bit The Witch, and then a bit of a return to the present to wrap up the sort of wraparound
yeah, that's
narrative.
right. Yeah,
It sounds they do. It sounds more interesting when you put it like that. I've written them off because they're Netflix horror as well, and I feel like when
yeah.
Netflix do their own originals as horror, they tend to be a bit watered down in some way.
Hmm.
That I've seen quite a few and never been overly
It's
impressed with
aiming for
what
a
they
younger
are.
audience, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah,
It
Oh,
will-
I'd tell you
yeah,
that the first one in particular, you might think it's going to be watered down a little bit, and then I don't want to spoil it for you, Michael, if you haven't seen it, but there's one particular kill. It's like, oh, okay, you've turned up, have you? Well done. This is yeah, it doesn't
yeah.
pull back on that one at all.
Um,
nice.
yeah, but I'll,
That's
I'll watch another one of these. Why not? I mean, I haven't watched the trailer
Yeah.
for it yet, but you know,
Pay for your Netflix already, don't you? What else are you doing with it?
yeah, yeah. Got to get your
exactly.
money's worth. There's no only
Yeah.
so much Black Mirror.
Yeah,
There's only so many adolescents you can watch.
you can
Yeah,
only watch
exactly.
Um,
that. You can only constantly watch apparently their biggest thing ever. You can only watch that film that's got The Rock, Ryan Reynolds, and
Oh,
Gal
Red
Gadot in
Notice.
it. So you can only watch Red Notice so many times.
I watched the first 10 minutes and I turned it off.
oh man, I've not seen it, and
I was like, I don't
don't
know if I
blame you.
could do this. This
No.
I've seen it all the way
annoys
through.
me how rich all these people are.
Couldn't tell you a thing about it.
No, but you have seen it.
I have seen it. I definitely
Yeah.
watched it, and I think my review of it at the time was very entertaining. Watching like insanely good-looking people do some slick action scenes, but I don't remember a thing about it.
I'm way
Sometimes
more
that's all you need.
I'm way more likely to watch like a Netflix horror than I am a Netflix action film. I feel like I don't know. There's something about a Netflix horror where I'm a bit like I kind of know what I'm getting myself in for. Like I know what to
Mm.
expect, but with a Yeah, I don't know.
Mostly on Netflix. What I want is a documentary. Did he kill his family? Did he not? Probably
I think
yes.
that's what they do very well, isn't it?
Yeah. Or like,
Okay.
actually, let's be fair. Sometimes if they're in prison, they probably didn't do it. If they're not in prison, definitely did. Murderers. Get them in.
Literally, all I watch on Netflix now is WWE. That's literally it. I don't even scroll down. I literally just click on continue watching every time, and that's it. That's become my life now. And
Gone
I
back to
don't.
the start. You're gonna complete it.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna complete wrestling. Like when someone goes, I'm gonna watch EastEnders from the start. Excuse me.
Yeah. I've got to get caught up.
I
I'll
got.
never know any of these
I gotta
people
get
are.
caught up. Ian Beale's just turned up. Little kid. He looks great. I can't wait to see what he gets up to. Um,
There's a picture like he's standing there like Luke Skywalker on Tatooine looking at that chip shop. One day I'm going to own that.
he's
The two
definitely
sons of Albert Square just above him.
the two sons of Albert Square.
My most the period that I was most into watching EastEnders, I used to genuinely get back from like college or uni and watch it with my friends. Also quite into Dragon Ball Z at the time, so we used to like connect the two people. Definitely used to describe Peggy Mitchell as Frieza, and she looks quite a lot like him when she's in there.
Get out of my pub.
And then a big ball of red energy comes out of her finger, shoots right through him.
A lot more people will watch it, I reckon, if that was
I
the
think
thing.
they would, yeah.
I
Yeah.
think, people talk about really this is genuine entertainment chat now. People think like the people watching soap operas is dying down now. It has a huge legacy audience, but new people aren't getting into soap, so they have a shelf life. So will Coronation Street be around in another 50 years? Maybe not, unless you want to inject some of these manga style like
Has there ever been like
storylines into it.
you say about neighbors versus zombies? Has there ever been like a British soap crossover with some sort of horror thing, like a
I feel
Halloween
like they should have a
special?
transfer market. So it's not that, you were in EastEnders and now you're a different guy. I think
Blown
if
out.
you
Yeah, I
I
got
think
it.
it should be well, I've had enough of London. I'm moving to the countryside, and then you do like the transfer and you go into Emmerdale as the same guy.
Well, I mean, do you guys know
Great
Dominic
idea.
Brandt?
No,
Have you
no,
heard
who
of
is
him?
this?
So he's plays Paddy the vet in Emmerdale,
Oh,
and he's also
okay.
Okay.
Oh,
a
of
very
course.
prolific horror
Oh
filmmaker.
no, we do.
So
Yeah,
I
of course
feel
we
like
do.
if
Yeah.
anybody's going to do it, you got to get Dom on it.
Oh yeah, man. I was
I already
in
get on to him.
what's the pub? What's the pub everyone goes in Fright Fest?
Oh,
Because the Rovers
I mean,
return.
yeah, I was thinking, is it the
I was
Rover?
in there. I was in there chatting to Jake West, and he came over, and I went. I recognise that guy from Emmerdale, and honestly, he embraced me and spoke to me like we'd known each other for years,
Dom's
and
a legend.
Brothers.
that is a
Yeah.
connection that I don't think is ever going to break. And
He's a
you don't know
lovely,
my
lovely
name.
man.
I've never spoken to him. I've seen him at Fright Fest, and I've recognised that he is the man from Emmerdale. Oh, Paddy, but I've never
Paddy the
spoken
Baddy.
to him.
He's
Yeah.
fantastic. He's done some great movies as well. His first film Before Dawn, when that
Mm.
came out, it's him and his real life wife Joanne Mitchell, who I believe is an actress from Emmerdale as well, or she certainly worked around
She
that.
wrote for it
that
because
region.
didn't she write
Is she
John
She
Mitchell
she
is she
she
to do with
brought out a film this year.
Broken Bird?
Broken Bird? The
That's
Broken
right.
Bird
Yeah,
is
yeah.
John Mitchell.
Oh yeah, yeah. We interviewed her, Andy. We interviewed her for the show.
Yeah.
Their
There you
their
go.
first film Before Dawn. It's just like a two-hander of like a couple trapped in a farmhouse in the zombie apocalypse. Excellent. It's brilliant.
Oh wow.
Really, really,
Okay.
really
Add
tense.
that to the old list.
Yeah, we'll have to check that out, definitely. And the last bit of horror news I've got before we move on is The Mortuary Assistant, a video game adaptation, is now in production. I've never actually played this. Andy, have you played this? Is that well?
The Mortuary
Miguel, played
Assistant?
this?
No.
No, it's got quite an interesting looking visual. Rebecca Owens, a recent mortuary science graduate, takes a night shift at Riverfield's mortuary. Oh no. Initially, the job seems straightforward, but once Rebecca starts working the night shift, things take a dark turn. It looks like it could be like a movie version of like Autopsy of Jane Doe or something. It looks like you're milling around
Okay.
a mortuary and just doing medium, like small tasks, and then suddenly some horrible stuff starts happening.
As if
Um,
the working person doesn't have it hard enough.
Have
yeah,
you, speaking of that, have you guys seen, well, in English it's called Cemetery Man or Della Morte Della More with Rupert
Oh,
Everett.
it's like an Italian. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've
Andy,
heard of
you
it, but I've never seen it.
wait. Andy, I think you have seen it.
Have
It's
I?
I feel like
batshit
you've seen it
crazy.
because I feel like you've told me to watch it or we've discussed it on
Oh,
the
it's so
show.
good.
And for some, I've never actually seen it, but you might not have, Andy. I might have just put words in
It
your mouth. Might have been a guest.
it's mad.
Get on my
It's
letterbox
about
and look.
like a. It's about like a. He's not a mortuary assistant, but they've got a morgue on the cemetery, and yeah, he's just the day-to-day sort of like groundskeeper of the cemetery. But shit just keeps coming up. So like, yeah, and he has to deal with it as if they're petty tasks. So people start rising from the dead, and he's like, for God's sake, like, he's dealing with
Bonk him on
that.
the head and
And
stick him
then
back in.
yeah, yeah, and then he's got like a helper who's he's not like functioning on all cylinders, and so he finds this the former girlfriend and of the cemetery man, who is Rupert Everett. So obviously he's a very good looking guy, and he's got this really amazing girlfriend that his assistant sort of takes a shine to. So when she dies and comes back, the assistant chops her head off, but puts her head in a TV so that he can sort of appreciate her,
Oh yeah.
because he's sort of like in love with her. It's a very batshit film. Highly recommend. Highly recommend. It was at tail end of the Jallows,
Yeah.
in the
Okay.
beginning of
Sort
the
of like mid
90s.
90s, isn't it? I don't know. Well,
Yeah,
I can't see that you've seen it on Letterboxd, Andy, but I'm pretty sure we've discussed it as a
We'll
film
get on
to
to it.
we've
you should
discussed it on
watch
the
it.
show as a film to potentially cover, I
It
think.
makes absolutely no sense. You'll love it.
Yep,
Hell
perfect.
yeah.
I'm in.
All over it. Um, that's all I got for horror news. What we've been watching, so we can discuss anything we've seen in the last 7 days or so that you want to recommend. Obviously, doesn't have to be 7 days for you, Mikel. You're not on the show every week. But anything you've seen recently that is worth a shout?
Well, I was going to ask actually, when did the Weapons trailer came out? Is
Yeah, that
that
was
this week? Is that
we
last week?
mentioned it last week. We discussed it
Yeah,
last
yeah, yeah.
week. Have you seen the
That
full
looks.
trailer for that?
I've
Um,
seen the trailer.
yeah.
It looks. I'm just like Josh Brolin. What a champ! He just gets
Yeah.
involved, doesn't he? Like I've heard this guy's good. I've
Where's our
watched
bloody
Barbarian.
kids?
Exactly.
Yeah,
But yeah, that looks excellent, and I love Zach Kreger. He's great.
yeah.
Yeah, Barbarian was brilliant. But no,
I've seen
recently,
the
what
first
have
trailer, not the second one,
I feel
because I
like
heard the second one might spoil a little
the
bit, so I'm
first
not going
trailer
to watch
gives
the
you
second one.
enough. I feel like the second trailer is really cool, but this first trailer I feel like gives you enough to like go, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, just kiddies get up in the night, Naruto run off into the forest, and they're
Yeah,
gone.
yeah,
Right, so
exactly.
now we
it's a scary subgenre of horror where the kids turn bad, isn't it? I feel
Yeah,
yeah.
like, yeah,
yeah.
that really there's something about that. And there's a shot, I don't know which trailer it's in, I'm not sure which one I've watched actually, the first or second, but there's a shot where somebody's stabbing themselves in the face with a fork. And I
Oh
feel
no.
like modern horror films have like tapped into that real primal fear of like self-mutilation. Like it's been
Yeah.
included in quite a few films recently. Like
Hereditary, smash your head on the
Talk to
table.
Me. Yeah,
Yeah.
Talk to Me.
Oh, talk to
Long
me. Yeah.
Legs.
Oh God,
And
yeah.
that really, I feel like that I don't know why modern filmmakers, they've obviously found something that just is so
It's
fucking disturbing
yeah, it's because
that
it's
everyone's kind
freaky.
of like,
It's
got to get a bit of self-mutilation in the
yeah.
movie.
It's
Yeah,
what are you
especially stabbing
doing?
yourself in the foot. In many ways, she's just the person in that trailer is doing the a more violent version of the airplane joke with "That's when I first got a drink problem," and he tips the drink in his face. It's a darker joke to say I've got an eating disorder and then stab yourself in the face with a fork.
Very dark. Self-mutilation, The Happening, M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah, but I feel like The Happening, that's in a real happy-go-lucky kind of way. When that guy lies in front of that lawnmower, I think he's like, this
Yeah,
is the best ever.
Yeah, yeah. When
I'm loving this.
the plants turn on people and get them, but people don't just like walk into traffic. They have to come up with imaginative ways
Yeah,
to kill themselves.
and they do run from the
Oh,
wind in that film as well, don't
it's brilliant. It's one of the most
they?
ludicrous chase sequences I've ever seen in my
Yeah.
life, and I like
I'll
it.
tell you what, Andy, we got to
Um,
cover that as well.
The Happening.
Well,
I've
yeah,
definitely seen The Happening, but remember
I
nothing
feel like that would
about
be
it.
fun. That would be a lot of
is it
Yeah,
fun.
one
that
that
would be
you
a fun
people
one.
enjoy watching again? I mean, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I reckon so. Like,
In the
just
current political and environmental climate, maybe I'll be gagging for The Happening to happen.
yeah, well, this is great. Was it made in America? I really hope so. Come on. Um,
No,
anything else?
recently, what have I been watching?
Oh,
Obviously, Sinners. I went and watched Sinners for a second time last week because
Oh,
oh
it was
nice.
wow.
leaving. It was leaving the local IMAX, so I was like, I got to catch it again on IMAX. Because when do you get a horror film on IMAX,
Yeah.
let alone like a vampire film,
Mm.
let alone a black centric vampire film. I was like, I am so in. No, this
Yeah.
is amazing.
And one with like and one with significant musical numbers in it as well.
Oh, so glorious. I've been listening to that soundtrack on repeat. But yeah, I mean, obviously, like we'll get into it because there's so many similarities and there's such inspiration taken
Yeah.
from
I've read a few
Dusk Till
things though
Dawn.
saying, "Oh, don't compare Sinners from Dusk Till Dawn. They're like completely different. Like, you know, they're completely different films." And you're like, "What? Sinners is great, and Dusk Till Dawn's a B movie shit." And I'm
You
just
know, I'd
like,
say to those people, Ben,
ah.
that's what comparing is. Because you don't have to, when
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
comparing them, you're
You're
not saying they're
comparing,
exactly the
aren't you?
same.
Don't compare. Well, sounds like you just did a compare.
Don't compare. Only talk to things. Only talk about things in complete sealed silos. And say that is the end of that conversation. Now we may talk about Sinners.
It's a bit like Dusk
Really,
Till Dawn.
really,
I reckon. Shut up.
really ruins it for that insurance aggregator. Go compare, doesn't it? If you can't
Yeah.
compare anything,
Don't don't compare
don't compare.
don't
Don't
compare different
compare.
insurance providers.
Don't compare films. Don't compare insurance. Just
Yeah.
whatever you get given,
Yeah.
enjoy.
I mean,
Yeah.
what I love more than anything is someone on the internet telling me how to appreciate art. Don't think about it in that way.
This film reminds me of this. Shut up, you fucking twat. Oh, Jesus,
Stop
sorry.
having an individual experience, all right?
Well, I went into Sinners. I went, is there any chance you could put this film on mute and I can watch it with just subtitles, please?
Just subtitles.
That's a weird
Is
request.
there
It's a
a
packed out
pussy-based
cinema.
monologue on this film? I'm afraid not.
I think
And for that
I'll
reason,
just
I'm
burp
out.
that one.
I also
I
think
mean,
after that monologue, after the pussy monologue, why is George Clooney kick his head in? It's completely unwarranted.
he's offended. I think
Oh,
look at what we know of Clooney now. He's a man of the people. He doesn't
yeah,
want people spouting that shit. So he takes it to Cheech, and
yeah.
Cheech does not appreciate.
Because you just know he's going to come back into it. And he says, "Be cool to everyone," and the first person he just kicks their head in. You silly
He's the
bastard.
least cool about anything.
Yeah,
The
but
most minor inconvenience, and he loses it.
oh yeah, take your bloody hand off me, you gorilla twat. Take your bloody hand off.
Can't let go of it, can he?
No,
Yeah, no,
he
Sue's,
can't let it
Sue's
go. We've all had
you
a
did
mate like
well.
that, haven't we? We've all had a mate like that who just sits down and you're like, you're still fuming about that thing 6 hours ago, and yeah, I'm gonna kick someone's head in. Chill
Or
out.
you just get you go to bar with him. It's like, will you stop staring at someone here to try and get us into a fight? Let me just. We've
Oh
escaped
yeah.
the law. Maybe try and keep a tiny bit of a low profile.
Or you go,
Sit in
why
the Maccas or something.
low
Is that
profile?
his idea of relaxation though? Is like they're finally out the woods. He's like, right, let's kick some heads in. That's how I
Yeah, yeah,
get
yeah.
real chill.
Exactly. Um, but yeah, anything else, Evan Sinners, Mikel? Oh, obviously
Yeah,
you're a fan of that. If you hadn't seen it twice.
yeah. No, I really enjoyed it. I mean, yeah, I think there's issues in that. Like I listened to your review of it, and yeah, I think there's issues in that final act. And the truth is, I'd have loved to have just watched the film where it was just the political statement, and there
Yeah,
was no vampire involved. I would have watched that.
yeah,
Like it was brilliant.
Yeah,
But and they could have just killed the K. It could have just been the KKK, which
yeah.
they still had to put that note on at the end. I mean, Coogler's an amazing filmmaker, but I think he's kind of constrained by that $90 million budget, isn't he? Because he's got to deliver in a way that appeals to everybody, and everything's got to be overstated a little bit, and there's not that much subtlety left in there. But having said that, I mean, it's just like the music and the soul to it, and the
Oh yeah.
undercurrent of the political context of what's going on, and the characters are amazing. Like, would love to have seen more of all of them at the end, like as you
Yeah.
pointed out, you guys
Mm.
pointed out.
Yeah, the whole series, I'd have sat down for that. Like, I almost was tempted to say like a Mike Flanagan series. I still mean Ryan Coogler directing it, but like in
Yeah,
the same vein as
Yeah.
Midnight Mass. Like, give me a 10 episode limited series of this, and we have an episode with those Native Americans that hunt the vampires, an
yeah, because
episode
they were
with
one and
that
done, weren't
family
they?
before the vampire comes. Give me them all.
Were there
Yeah,
any
yeah,
scenes in particular on that big IMAX screen that it was great to
yeah.
see again?
Yeah, I mean, of course, that musical number that's in the middle.
Yeah.
And if people haven't watched it, I won't give it away because like, I think first time watching it kind of took me out of it for a moment, and then I carried on listening to the soundtrack afterwards, and I was just like, no, this is insane, and like how brave, like what a swing, what an absolute swing for the fences, and yeah, just incredible. What I really love, I love those opening scenes of it, like where he's at the train station. It's the scenes between Miles Caton's character and which one is it? Which one's the less responsible one of Smoke and Stack? It's Smoke, isn't it?
Yeah.
What he ends up
I think I
signing
said I was identifying them by hat only for a
It's
while.
the one
And
that
then
Michael B. Jordan plays.
and by the time they took their hats off, I was like, oh, for God's sake, I don't know what's going on now. Who's who?
I got waistcoat on or waistcoat off.
Yeah. It's like they kind of did
Surely
that
the
with
more
Mickey
sensible
7.
one wears the waistcoat.
Yeah, I
Which
think that's
one? The
right.
naughty one.
I would have said
Naughty
the good
one, yeah.
one would wear his waistcoat. Got his shirt tucked in.
Yeah.
What was it like?
Great. I was just going to say, great waistcoat action in this film when, for no reason, Danny Trejo rips off his waistcoat before he engages in fighting, as if that's really holding it back.
The thickest neck a man has ever had in that particular instance as well. Come on, then. He's fighting you like George Clooney Batman, essentially, or Michael Keaton Batman. Just
Can't turn his neck.
can't turn his
Just
neck.
a perfect oblong, like the Tetris eye block he is.
Yeah.
That's how he's built.
Andy, have you seen anything you wanted to mention?
Seen a couple of things I will mention, Ben. No horror films on my
Oh,
plane,
wait,
even though
should we mention Rosario? Because obviously we've
I
got
was going to say, do you want to do Rosario because we've both seen that and it's out now,
Yeah.
so we can review it.
So Rosario's out now as well, and we've got an interview with the director Felipe Vargas, which is out on all platforms currently, on YouTube, on Spotify, on everywhere. Andy talking to the filmmaker about that. Yeah, how would you describe that film?
It is like it's folklore, not like UK folklore. It's folklore from sort of Central and South America. A lot of connection on family and the sacrifices that particularly families who've emigrated to the US to give their children a better life and what that means to those children a generation on. Um, practical scare effects, like quite a claustrophobic environment. I really enjoyed this. Thought it was very good.
Do you know what?
Sounds
Do you
right
know
on
what?
my street as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's good. I say definitely. Like that's yeah. I know what your street is, and I'm.
Well, I love it. I love a bit of folklore.
Yeah.
And I love a bit of Central and South America. I spent a lot of time
Yeah.
there. So.
Oh wow, really? David
Yeah, it's a good one.
is in it as well. Not like a huge role, but like he's good in it. Reminded me a little bit of, and stick with me now, Encanto. The reason it reminded me of that is because of this sort of like shared generational trauma thing, which obviously in Encanto is far is far less prevalent and not as evil. Well, I suppose it can be a little bit evil as well, but there was that was kind of sitting in that, and I guess with similar cultural sort of tendencies as well. That's why it
I
reminded me.
haven't seen Encanto, but I'm assuming there are less air fryers in that, less of a central air fryer
There's no
in
there's
that
no
film
air
than there is in
fryers in
this.
it, but like families keeping secrets, and even though Rosario is a lot more about death, there are a lot of dark themes in Encanto as well, and
Yeah.
yeah, which isn't.
I had a lot of fun with it, and speaking to Felipe as well, his like passion for like telling those stories, the passion for like the story of those families, obviously with a supernatural element. There are, I imagine, I don't know every family that's moved to America personally, but I imagine not all of them involve like a demonic pact.
Not all of them, no.
But
In terms of our, if you
Oh,
do enjoy our interview episodes, though, literally just the last week we've had our interview go up with Clown in a Cornfield director Eli Craig as well, so that was cool talking about that. He directed Tucker and Dale versus Evil as well, which we've covered on the show, which was nice to
you
discuss.
petitioned him for a sequel while you were there. I was glad to see.
Yeah, give us a bloody sequel, mate, for God's sake. And he's like,
You might only be one person asking away at any given time. So
yeah, gotta keep asking.
until
Definitely.
you become the
That's what
straw that breaks the camel's back.
yeah, the finances are there. Like they've got the straw, they've got that camel's back in there. So
Yeah.
one more
The
opinion.
camel's struggling. The camel's struggling.
What I don't want to be doing is sitting here like reading in that director who is probably younger than me, his obituary saying he never made the sequel because one too few people asked him to do so.
Yeah,
So
don't want that.
We got to keep it going, everybody.
It's a great movie. Would love to see a sequel to that.
There
Hell
you go.
yeah.
Add that
And
on the
I was
record.
found in the cornfield. Then have you guys seen it?
We're doing a
Yeah.
full episode in next week, the week after.
Full episode next week. A special guest as well. Someone else from Screams by the Sea, Mark Walker, who won the screenwriting competition.
Oh yeah,
He's joining us for that. I really enjoyed Clown in the Cornfield. I think it's hard to say too much without spoiling anything, but I think a lot of the kind of like modern slasher movies with like these young casts and they're a bit meta and there's a lot of interesting themes going on. I really liked everything that was brought forward with this. I thought it was good. It was very interesting. And a killer clown, you're a bit like, well, we've seen it all before. Well, I don't think you have. So
not in the cornfield. You haven't.
not in a
No.
bloody cornfield, you haven't? No, exactly. Well, I've seen a clown here and I've seen a clown there. I've seen a clown in the sewers. I've seen a clown milling about here. But
Seen a clown at Funhouse.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. That's where you expect to see a clown, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Anywhere
Still
else, I'm
creepy.
like, this is weird.
The only thing I'm going
what
to
are
be
you
more
doing here?
The only thing that's going to be like that's going to get me over that is if the sequel is like clown on an oil rig,
Oh
the
yeah,
least likely place.
clown in space.
Kid
We
party's
know that
pretty
space is the
terrifying.
next. What was
Space
that?
clown at a kid's party would be pretty terrifying,
Yeah.
but again,
Yeah.
kind of expected.
Expected.
Have you both
But
seen the film Clown with about
John
a man
Watts
who
film.
gets a haunted clown suit?
I've seen the short film. I've never actually watched the feature.
It's pretty
Is it?
good.
Wait, who is in that?
I don't know who's in it, but it's John Watts directed it, who went on
Okay.
to do Cop Car and then the new Spider-Man's,
Oh wow, okay.
and just did Skeleton Crew, which I really rated Skeleton Crew. I don't know if
Yeah.
you guys watched it.
I
No.
haven't. I'm so far behind on my
No.
Star Wars.
I kind of given up with Star Wars to a degree, but Skeleton Crew, I think, pitched it exactly where it always should have been, which is Goonies in space, using loads of
Oh,
Peter
God,
Pan
yeah.
folklore, loads of Treasure Island folklore. Gives it's for kids, but then there's a random episode where like the kids become child soldiers, which is also really genius, like
Yeah.
in Star Wars universe. Like and it's genuinely really funny. Like
Yeah.
I will say,
cool.
I watched that recently and I rated it.
I do
I'll
want to
have to
watch
give
that
that a
because
go.
that's had good reviews, but Andor's had good reviews as well, hasn't it? That's supposed
Yeah,
to
it
be
was
good.
just
I watched the first episode. That was the last thing, and I know it's meant to be one of the best ones. That's where I fell off, where I was just like, I've watched the first episode of Andor, and I'll go back to watch the others, and I just haven't got around to it yet. Apparently, it's great.
It is brilliant. Yeah, I do rate it. It ends very much. It just ends really abruptly, and so like it almost has lost the momentum. So, but I am intrigued. I haven't started the new series, but I would be.
I might wait till it's out and then
Yeah.
just double feature it.
Yeah.
Just to answer your earlier question, so Clown features Andy Powers, who I don't recognise from anything else, Laura Allen, and last week's Peter Stormare. Stormare is in there as well.
What a brilliant character actor.
As Carlson.
I think my first introduction to Peter Stormare was Dieter in Lost World.
We said,
Do you remember that
dude,
scene?
we said exactly the
Eaten
same
by
thing
the-
on last week. So last week we
cigar.
talked about Until Dawn, and I said exactly the same thing. I said the first thing I ever saw him in was getting eaten by compies, and I genuinely
it was
thought that's an actually honestly scary scene.
That's a horror film. I mean, have you ever read the books, Jurassic Park books?
I sure
Yeah.
have. Yep.
And those are genuinely scary.
Yeah.
Like it's way more pitched towards horror than it is.
Hell yeah.
what
The
family
scariest
film
bit,
came out of it.
and again, I don't want to repeat myself, so I did say this last week, but the scariest bit of that scene is when he realizes he's fucked. Like for a
Yeah.
while, he's just like electrocuted him, and he's just like kicking him around, and then he realizes that they're just gonna keep coming for him. And when he got his lip,
Yeah.
ah,
Yeah.
Oh, when he gets his lips horrible.
it's good, man. It's good. But yeah,
Yeah.
he's a great
Well
great
done.
character actor.
Lost World's
Yeah.
great. I think it goes way more into the horror of that concept, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The don't go into the long grass bit and all
Yeah,
of
it's
that. Like,
terrifying.
I
yeah,
shout
Don't
that
go into the
whenever
long
we
grass.
run into a field.
The
I
T-Rex
shout it
turning
still
up.
to this day.
don't go into the long
Yeah.
grass.
When the T-Rex turning up when everyone's asleep. Horrible.
Oh, excellent.
It is
And that is
excellent,
what
yeah.
I wanted. That is what I wanted from Jurassic World. From the the most recent one, right?
Yeah.
Like from where Jurassic World 2 left off, and it was like, oh, they're out now.
Yeah.
This is it. I was like,
Just
brilliant.
dinosaurs everywhere.
Exactly. Like we're going to go back to San Diego, and they did those 2 short films. The one that was like
Yeah.
Battle for Big Rock, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they were
You
good.
that
got
was really
the
good.
campsite. That was brilliant. And also, you got the guy out of Moonlight who never shows up in the film. I assumed he'd been cast in the follow-up film, but
Oh,
he never
right.
shows up again, and he's a brilliant
Oh.
actor. But yeah, they did all that, and then they've got that footage at the beginning where it's like all the found footage sort of YouTube stuff, and you're like, yeah, brilliant. I can't wait for this. And then they're like, yeah, biggest problem, the giant locusts.
Giant bugs
Yeah,
eating all
oh,
the
yeah.
corn.
We've got these
Right,
prehistoric
let's
locusts
see,
ruining
hold
our
on.
crops.
You're actually all right with the dinosaurs. We're like,
So we're gonna have to do a heist to solve it.
What a
they
movie.
just
Unfortunately,
fell
all the
off, didn't it?
characters that are remaining in this series are beloved, so you cannot kill any of them.
So there will
up
be
and started
absolutely
again,
no stakes whatsoever.
Yeah, and literally by the end, it's literally a group of 12 of you all holding hands as you exit the very dangerous dinosaur situation.
Riding on that feathered velociraptor that they find in the ice.
Yeah.
God, honestly, I feel like I've deleted it from my brain.
There is there's several things of that. Like they've got the blind dinosaur who ends up sort of saving the day as well. And it's just what are we watching at this point? Like I don't understand. I'm enjoying it. But
You know the lesson I'm going to take from this is much like if they opened a real Jurassic Park when the next Jurassic World film comes out later this year, absolutely going straight away.
Oh yeah, opening night, mate.
Dinosaurs in movies are what pizza is to food. Even an okay one is still better than 95%
Yeah.
of any alternative without that in it.
I think you're
have
right.
you seen Velocipasta though?
I have not seen Velocipasta.
No. We've seen
can't wait
the
to see
Invisible
it.
Raptor.
Oh, yeah, that was a
Multiple
fright
times.
fest.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like I asked you ages ago, Andy, what have you seen? And
So before Rosario,
Oh,
which was an important crossover, didn't watch any spooky movies on the flight I was on because I was sitting next to a little boy that I didn't want to traumatize. So I just
No.
watched Sonic 3 and Captain America Bird Now, in preparation for Thunderbolts. Also
Captain
good.
America Bird now, and also a president who's really unhinged. What's he gonna do?
Yeah,
Can't relate to that.
unrealistic. Presidents who commit crimes don't go to prison. Come on. But I have had time for a few little bits. Tell you what, I'll segue between films and video games by telling you that I watched the third episode of the Terabytes documentary, now available,
Yes.
talking about horror in video games. And episode 3 is a real deep dive on what were super formative games for me. It was like the FMV era of horror gaming. So
Yeah.
you've got your Sierra Online, Roberta Williams, absolute legend, like penned games like Phantasmagoria, like the Sierra Online games, like Gabriel Knights that were incredible. These these point and click horror adventures.
I love
We
it, man.
talk about Night Trap. We talk about all of your FMV absolute legends, like The Seventh Guest.
Yeah.
Really, really
X-Files?
huge games
X-Files
for me
game?
growing up. Nah, because
Oh.
there's another franchise from a similar era that's actually more culturally significant. Ben, I'll talk about that in a minute.
Oh,
It went
there you
well
go.
high.
But before I get up to that, it has been a more of a game time. So, been playing Oblivion. There are spooky skeletons in that, but that's not directly horror coded. One thing I am going to claim as having big horror elements to it, though, taken the world by storm. A small team have put out something which has been huge.
Mm.
All of your video game podcasts are talking about it right now. I started Clair Obscura Expedition 33. If you haven't, have you heard much about it yet, Ben? I know you'd heard the title. I think the premise is a great
I've seen,
horror one.
I don't know. I know next to nothing about it currently because I'm trying not to get drawn in to buying a new game. So
Well, unfortunately, for the purposes of content, I'm going to draw you in right now.
please do.
So it's set in a world. It's like almost a post-apocalyptic Paris setting. You know, I love a French thing, Ben.
Yeah, you do.
And basically, it's a group of people who are called the Last Generation. So some all-powerful entity has turned up and laid waste to the world. She's called the Paintress, like this bizarre figure, and we just see her from the distance in the same thing. And in a far-off tower in a far-off land, you see a number that's painted on there. And once a year, the Paintress re-emerges and she changes the number that's on there. And then she changes the number that's on this big tower. And then everyone who is older than that age at the time disappears. They get Infinity Ward off into oblivion.
Oh no.
And every year, this is the 33rd time, an exhibition goes out into like the wasteland where this entity has taken control to try and put a stop to this annual cycle. And you play part of that expedition that's going out there. But the architecture is beautiful, but incredibly fractured. It's got almost a oh no, I can't think of the title now. What's the one? What's the horror film with Annihilation? I was going to say with the bear pig. So it's like
Oh,
almost an
okay.
Annihilation vibe. So like cracked and broken architecture with like impossible flora and fauna growing all over it. And these
Okay.
people with it's kind of it is technology, but it's like akin to magic. It's these weird technologies that they're fighting through, and it's like a really hostile environment. It's picking up all the awards this year, and it was made by
Tiny
a
team
team
as
of
well, right?
30 people.
A team of
30
30
people.
people.
A team
Jesus.
of 30 people, but incredible voice cast. Charlie Cox himself, Daredevil, is the male lead. I think they've already signed up. I think it's already been picked up for the film rights, and I suspect it will be
Oh
something
my God.
spectacular. Really,
Right.
really, really enjoying it. The only thing I've been enjoying almost as much, Ben and Mikel, because I know you're in for this as well. Wasn't here last week, Ben, so I've got two episodes of popular contemporary series, Friday the 13th, the series to tell you about.
Oh, hell yeah.
Um, in episode one this week, keeping you up to date, this one was called Bedazzled. And it's another one of those episodes, Ben, where the capturing of the mystical item happens really early on. Like we see
Nice.
a man has dived for some treasure and he's gone, bloody hell, look at all this treasure. How did you find it with this lamp? And he goes, oh, this lamp always finds treasure. Unfortunately, there's only one price has to pay. And then he uses the lamp to focus a beam of light on the diver and burn him to ashes. Um, Thankfully,
Jesus.
the lads turn up and they capture the lamp and they go, right, that's this captured, put this in the vault. And then old Ryan and Jack go off to a conference, leaving Mickey home alone, apart from a kid she's babysitting, during a terrible storm.
Oh
So
And the
no.
good.
bad
Not
men,
looking good for the kid.
yeah, the bad men, they turn up and they pretend to be the phone repairmen,
Oh,
but they're trying to get into the vault to steal back this mystical lamp to help them find treasure. Anyway, long story short, both the burglars, a policeman, they all end up dead in the in the unraveling of this story. But Mickey plays it off like it's Home Alone. She gets back, and the guys come back from the conference, and they're like, "Whew, tell you what, the hotel was fully booked. It was ever so busy. We had an awful time. What did you do?" And she's like, "Oh, just fooling around." And then they hear on the
just
radio,
hung around.
yeah, just hanging around. They hear on the radio like a policeman and two burglars were found dead, and she's like, "What a time!" And then
Sort them out.
the second episode, the first cliffhanger we've had so far, episode
Oh,
15, and you're going to say, Ben, that this is coming up very frequently. Episode 15, Vanity's Mirror. It's an enchanted mirror thing, and if you shine the light from this little compact mirror in someone's eyes, they bloody love you. They fall in
I've
love
got
with
one
you
right here.
desperately. Watch
I've got
out.
it.
Oh,
Don't look
funnily
at
enough,
it. Don't look at it.
yeah, that's how Ryan escapes. But he does fall off a massive gantry in a boiler room in a school. I don't know how there's like a, I don't know how there's such a high gantry in a school's boiler room. After, it was a different time. It was 1987. There's a girl who's a bit of a minger, and everyone bullies her. So then she finds this mirror and shines it in people's. She gets the mirror, by the way, because originally, a homeless person has it, and she uses it to make a man fall in love with her so she can drop a ladder on his head, Final Destination 2 style, and kill him. But then while she's gloating over that, she's literally cackling and running away, and she gets fucking pasted by a bus.
A lot just happened in those couple of
Yeah,
sentences.
it is.
He was homely and homeless at the same
Yeah.
time.
And
And
then,
then,
Only
and then
homeless
he,
person.
and then they used the mirror to make somebody fall in love with him so they could drop a ladder on him.
yeah, she basically goes, this guy's like
I
the
like that you're
businessman.
just like, yeah, it makes
Businessman's
sense.
buying some flowers off her, and she's like, "Oh, don't you find me attractive?" Then he goes, no," and she shines the light in
Oh,
his eyes and goes, "I've just realised, actually, you're the most beautiful woman in the world. I love you." And she goes, "Oh, come here, a bit more private." knocks the crank ladder
Fuck you with a ladder,
right
yeah.
in the crust. Um,
Wow.
yeah, and then this girl at the school gets hold of the mirror, and she's making boys fall in love with her. She's crushing a kid in a garbage compactor. She's pushing another kid's head into a saw. She's mad.
I appreciate there's a horror series based on Friday the 13th. But why use the mirror to 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 make people fall in love with you and then just kill them? Like,
Because then they just go along with it.
Is
Like
this
literally,
yeah,
episode
she
three?
went.
Is this the third episode so far where there's been an item that makes someone fall in love with them?
Hang on. So there was the
The
Cupid statue that
Cupid.
makes distinctly that was it made women fall in love with that incel man. So very different, Ben.
Yeah.
Um, then there was the vampire who had the cloak that made him irresistible to women because it's a very heteronormative society as 1987.
Hmm.
And then this time, you are correct that this mirror, I guess it's whoever has the mirror and flashes the light in
Yeah.
your eyes.
Okay, so
The people become
the first one was women only, second one men only, this one bisexual mirror,
yeah.
pansexual mirror.
Can do.
Whoever.
Yeah,
Whoever.
yeah. Mickey does claim that the mirror does wouldn't work on her because she's like, I'm so not gay that this mirror wouldn't even work on me, even this magic mirror.
I'm straight
Um,
as an arrow, all right?
yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Uh,
Tested too
so
much.
that and you know what? We have a moment. I know I am spoiling this, approaching 40-year-old series, but first time we've had a bit of a cliffhanger to end it here because ultimately, um, the girl uses the mirror to steal her closest friend's boyfriend,
Oof.
convinces the boyfriend
I've order.
to try and hang his his girlfriend in a cupboard. Jack saves her. It's fine. It's not sad. But unfortunately, get your emotions ready for that savior. That should give you the fortitude to understand that they go up on the roof and jump to their deaths together.
Yikes! This mirror.
Yeah,
This
and they don't
mirror's
even
got a
find.
lot to answer
Dangerous
for.
game, isn't it?
And the
Yeah.
thing is, right? They don't even find it at the end. They
Cliffhanger.
don't. They're like bloody hell. They have like a
How did you
moment where
stop yourself from watching the next episode, Andy?
a bit like the end because the next one's got a different chat. I don't know that this story
Yeah.
carries on. It's just a bit like sometimes you watch an episode of
Oh.
Law and Order Special Victims Unit and they'll get all the proof together and have a really big court case, and then at the end they just go into their office and go. It's
Turns
a bit
out
like that.
can't be
They
done.
basically go,
We
"We
didn't
weren't in
solve that
time."
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically we weren't in time. We weren't in time for that one. I mean, I would never criticize my favorite, most iconic trio in television, apart from on this factor. The mirror has just kind of tumbled under a bush on the school grounds. I feel like it was
That was it.
eminently findable if they
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
stuck around and had a bit of a look in the
Wow.
light of day.
They needed a new
Pretty
episode.
valuable mirror. Yeah. I'd
But
I'd
that
be after that probably.
But yeah, unless it comes back round in a future episode, guys, if you are around nondescript American college campus anytime around, have a look in the bushes. There might be an enchanted mirror.
Is that what you were doing in Carolina? Was it just
It
looking around
was actually. I
around
was,
school? Yeah.
yeah, I was looking around
Really
to see if
get
there's
hold of
any
that mirror.
enchanted. If only I hadn't seen that episode at the time, so I could have walked right past it, just like Nikki and Ryan
Yeah.
did.
Doing
Um,
arm's reach.
but yeah, another two top quality episodes. I
Oh,
wish there
nice
was
one.
an FMV video about that.
And
Yeah.
Video
is
game
there?
about that.
Do you think at any point does Jason Voorhees like make some sort of cameo?
I looked. There is an episode. There was an episode really early on, like episode 6, where it'd been the first Halloween, and they'd gone, "Oh, thank God that's over." And they said, "Oh, don't be so sure. It's Friday the 13th in a fortnight."
Yeah.
Um, I saw on the trivia of that episode that that is the closest that Jason that mention of the word
Saying
Friday
Friday
the
the
13th
13th.
is the closest he ever comes to appearing in it.
Oh, wow.
Brilliant.
So he is never in it, and he never will be. But I'm still having an absolute blast.
They couldn't afford the hockey mask. That was it. It was
No,
a budget.
not even like is it like a prop in the back or anything like that?
No,
I mean,
never.
so far in this series, 3 artifacts that make people fall in love. They inspired the writing of Dracula. There was an episode that was almost
yeah.
entirely in black and white at the time. This is the big
Venom.
swings of sort of episodic monster of the week television, and I'm having a delightful time.
It sounds great.
That's great,
I
man.
need to get on it.
So it's all over. It's I think most of them are on YouTube, so You can do that
Yeah,
for the
no.
low, low price of nothing.
I've not really anything
What
to
about you, Ben?
mention. Not really got anything to cover because we recorded quite late last week, so I didn't see much. I haven't seen much horror. I did go and see Thunderbolts, which was fun.
It's got a
Um,
scary man in it, hasn't it?
it's got a scary man in it.
Scary.
It's got
Yeah,
a depression based supervillain, which
yeah.
A
is
depression-based supervillain.
yeah. Well,
Like
maybe the real
depression, like
supervillain,
Trump, or
maybe the real supervillain is depression.
oh,
Um,
Yeah.
okay, I see.
although there's like a
Totally
not
fair.
really a villain, but like an anti-hero who's got depression, and maybe that um comes out in
They
different
clear him
ways.
up in the end.
Well, go,
Yeah.
definitely check it out because I think
It's
it's
a
probably
good
the
time
strongest.
sometimes having your mates. I liked it. I think it was good.
Oh, you've seen it as well?
Yeah, I saw it
Yeah,
Saturday.
yeah, it was good. I liked it.
Having seen Captain Bird America, I was ready.
Yeah, I didn't mind. I didn't mind Captain Bird America either. I thought that was perfectly okay. Not as good as Thunderbolts. That was much more fun, but
Yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed Thunderbolts.
yeah. But the only other thing I've seen is Film of the Week from Dusk Till Dawn, which is a 1996 American action horror film directed by Robert Rodriguez, written by Quentin Tarantino. It stars Harvey Keitel, George Clooney, Quentin Tarantino, Ernest Liu, Juliette Lewis. Follows a pair of American criminal brothers who take a family hostage to cross into Mexico, but ultimately find themselves trapped in a saloon defending themselves against a horde of vampires. Can you believe it? What have we
Yeah.
got? Ratings 7.2 out of 10 IMDb. Rotten Tomatoes 65% audience score, 76% critic score. Letterboxd 3.5 out of 5. Some choice reviews from Letterboxd. George Carmy says that's the craziest tonal shift I've ever seen in a movie. 4 stars. Brian Esposita says Tom Savini's cock gun is the single greatest movie prop of all time. It is, but I always think, how are you using that effectively in any way? Do you know
I
what I
don't
mean?
know how he
Use
reloads or how
use
he
it
fires it. To be fair,
Yeah,
Yeah, you use
yeah,
it
yeah.
exclusively for shooting other people in the dick.
Yeah. Or like shooting someone
oh
who's
wow.
getting down to business on you. Bang!
Putting another, I'm trying to put another light on here. I've noticed that I've got very dark in
You've
the.
turned
I'm
into the void
sat by
from
a window.
Thunderbolts. You turned into the void. It's alright, it's kind of
Or
creepy. I like
pinhole
it.
eyes anytime.
Uh, Michal says it's quite alarming just how well Quentin Tarantino portrays a registered sex offender. 3 stars. And then Jacob Knight says Tarantino and Rodriguez are just jaggedly zigzagging from one insane scenario to the next, caked in filth and totally unapologetic. What a blast! 4 stars. Um, yeah, I mean, there's not much to add. Well, there is plenty to add, but I think that's kind of it, isn't it? It is a tonal shift. It is kind of crazy. It is an insane ride from one set piece to the next. I also feel like I was reading a lot of reviews on Letterboxd for this. People saying, "Oh, it was pretty chill until the they turn up at the bar." I'm like, was it? I feel like it's
Not
pretty
that chill.
mad.
Yeah.
It's
I
pretty
feel
mad.
like it was. I
Opening
feel like the
scene.
vampires are more chill than anything that comes before it.
At least
Geez.
apparently they're squishy, so that
Oh, do you know what? I did
makes it
like that.
lower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, just squishy. That's where they're exploded into bits. When you just do that. That's when I'd feel a lot less scared if I knew they were squishy, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
I,
vampires
I
are
think I
made
would.
in water balloons.
The law that they sort of vaguely set up halfway through when the vampires do come in kind of gradually dissolves in
Yeah.
the pile of goo itself. Like I like
Yeah.
we'll get there when we get there, but yeah, they sort of like set several rules, and then those get abused more and more as the
Oh
film
yeah.
then goes on, doesn't it?
Right. It's a few questions. Why have they got a bloody disco ball in there? Like
It's a bar.
yeah, but someone somewhere's got to go. Hang on a minute. That thing would literally reflect light everywhere at any point.
This vampire smart bomb that we've
Yeah.
created in our own
Also,
establishment.
there's a lot of like Batman Arkham Asylum fight techniques going on with the vampires where people just wait their turn to fight you. Just like at
No,
one point, surrounded by vampires, and they're just like
George
taking
Clooney's,
their
George
time.
Clooney's having a look.
It's
He's
obvious.
looking for like the
That
counter
NPC.
symbol above his head. It's like, yep, I need the Y button for this one.
Yeah.
Your turn.
It's your turn now, mate. But yeah, I already mentioned my history of this film. I feel like this is a film that it is definitely a film that if it's on TV, I will always stop and watch, no matter
Why
what
not?
point it's at, because I feel like both halves of the film are entertaining in their own right. Um, and I feel like it's just a film that never really gets old. I mean, I think I've seen both of the sequels maybe once. I think I maybe tried this TV series out a little bit.
I was going
Not
to
too
ask
much.
what your guys' connection is to the rest of the canon. Well, canon, whatever is canon,
I
what
don't think
isn't.
I've seen any of it, you know. I
Not
might have
I've
to
not
catch
seen
up
either of
now.
the sequels. No,
I've seen both of the
I've watched.
sequels once each because it's got the same Texas Ranger, that Earl McGraw. I
Oh
think
my
he's the
God.
only character that appears in all three.
I think
When
that's
he shows
better
up
from being shot in the
Planet.
fucking head.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, so it must all happened before because he shows up in Planet Terror, which presumes then that Planet Terror was
Yes, he
before.
does, of course. You're
So
right.
they're okay with zombies at this point, melty zombies.
Yeah.
So I guess like yeah, that explains more why it's less of a shock when they're like, yeah, well, it's vampires, isn't it?
Yeah.
Melty
And
vampires all hit
number two
most
must
things.
be a prequel because Danny Trejo's in it. Robert Patrick is like the lead in that one. Texas Blood Money is called. The third one's The Hangman's Daughter, which
Which is like a period film, right?
yeah, it is. It
So they're
takes
both
place
prequels.
1913. So both prequels, but to be fair, it's the perfect film for like sequels because that final shot of the pyramid
Yeah.
is amazing because it just throws up so many questions and makes you just think, oh my God, like what? This is way bigger than I ever anticipated. And
It's a huge dose of shade on the Mexican government. You'd think they would be more across protecting their own heritage.
Yeah.
yes,
I mean,
literally,
they
it's
could
like,
be earning tons out of that.
Yeah.
Instead, they're letting these vampires run amok.
That you've let vampires put a shit bar on top of it.
because I
More
mean,
people would come to see that.
Yeah,
it does look like a
yeah,
bit of a
true.
shit
Yeah,
bar.
they get tourists. And tourists can't fight as well as bikers and truckers.
Yeah. Let's have.
Yeah,
Should we get the two hardest professions to come to here? I'm sorry, this bar's just for MMA fighters and ninjas. Sorry.
Surely they can't have any regulars either, can they? Because it's just like everybody each time just gets. Well, we got
It'd
this
just
guy.
literally be it'd literally just be dead all the time. It's like that vampire rave in Blade. So many times there must only be vampires in there, and they just have to have they just
Yeah,
have to have a dance.
Well, that's what they got the sprinklers for.
that's
They,
true. That's true.
they go
Also,
mad for the sprinklers, and then that one guy comes. He's not having
That'd be
it.
like if us lot went to a foam party and it
Yeah,
was actual food that came out, Angel Delight
oh hell
out of the
yeah,
bloody
I'll be all over
ceiling.
that. What a way to go. Um,
Oh, I've gone to a wine gum rave, just dropping them chicken
because
nuggets, spraying out the sprinklers at you.
they have
I think
invited like the hardest blokes known to man because they've got literally a man who killed a whole troop of like Vietnamese soldiers with his bare hands, like the Viet Cong. Yeah, we got him in here. Tom Savini, who's like,
Is he a biker or a is he a biker
fucker.
or a
What?
trucker though?
Fred Williamson. He's a non vet. No one's going to fuck with him.
no,
Yeah, so it's bikers, truckers,
he tells
or our servicemen. God
he
bless
tells
our
that story.
troops.
He tells
No,
that
no,
story any chance he
so-
gets as well. Like literally, if you
yeah.
go to, so what's your story, then, mate? Well, I tore apart a whole fucking group of the Viet
Have
Cong
you?
with a bare
I was
hand.
just asked. I was just asking if you had a club card,
Yeah.
please.
I would have been like, is it Scott, the son of
Yeah,
Big
yeah.
Hotel? I'd get a bit bored halfway through and look around at Tom Savini.
I know. It's like when you look at the kid at the back of the room, isn't it?
Yeah.
In classes, because then Speedy gives that grin, like nothing's going on, like, and then the kid and the Scott's just like,
There's
why
no
are you looking back?
consistency with how quickly they turn as well. I mean, not that I want consistency in a film like this, but there's no consistency. I feel like Tom
I,
Savini turns so quickly.
When it's
But
plot relevant,
Harvey-
he's a
Harvey
transform.
Keitel's got like an hour.
yeah, I like that. He's like, he looks at his watch as well. He's like, I've got about an hour,
Yeah.
and,
He's like,
and they've just seen the other two go in like seconds. I think my favourite part of that speech as well is when it does cut to Savini, and he's turning, and then in the background, Fred Williamson's just miming everything.
yeah.
He's just
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and it's like,
And
yeah,
there's flash all over my
Yeah.
bayonet or something. wasn't there?
And Tom Savini does like a comedy transformation, like a vampire
Oh,
comes out, he's like, oh,
Oh, it's so good though. Like those
oh,
hands coming up.
spaghettios.
Those hands coming up. It is.
how did he
just-
creep round him? How did the rest of him not see him as he was creeping round?
It's so
Where did he
good.
fucking come from? We've
Okay.
scared him.
So obviously we'll get into the plot, but in terms of cast, we've got Harvey Keitel, Jacob Fuller, who's like a pastor, who's he's had a bloody guts full of God. He's lost his faith. The two brothers are George Clooney as Seth Gecko, Quentin Tarantino as Richie Gecko, and then the family. So Harvey Keitel's kids, Juliette Lewis as Kate, Ernest Liu as Scott, Salma Hayek as Santanico Pandemonium. I mean, a great name for I don't know, a wrestler. Just anyone who's going to be up on stage, right?
Well,
Yeah, I was
it
like,
was the name of an old 70s Mexican vampire film, I think, isn't
Oh
it?
wow, okay. Oh
as
yeah,
a
well Tarantino and Rodriguez, they love that, and they love all the
Yeah.
or any exploitation movie, any like grindhouse movie. That's all. Cheech Marin plays like free. He plays the border guard. His official name's Chet Pussy in this, and then Carlos at the end. And obviously you got Tom Savini and who's the
Fred Williams,
veteran
the
Fred.
non-vet.
Yeah, of course.
Fred
Yeah,
Williams,
yeah.
yeah.
Danny Trejo as well as the barman slash. His name's Razor Charlie, no neck man. Fred
Is this the
Williams.
film where, because I know there's like famously on record some interviews with Danny Trejo's talking about when he was first out of prison and he met Salma Hayek and was first in a film. Was it this? Had there been anything together before?
Must have been Desperado, I reckon.
Desperado, yeah.
Or,
Okay.
but maybe they weren't on the same set, so it could have been this. Yeah, yeah.
Said he
Mm.
met her and he realized she was the most beautiful woman in the world and she was very nice to him. And he was like, I can turn my life around and be a big filmman.
She looks the same these days, doesn't she? She looks the
She's not
same.
changed a lot. Yeah,
No.
good genes. It doesn't feel like she's, been in and out of the plastic surgeon either. She just looks the same.
Yeah. She looks great. Yeah, so in terms of so this came out in 1996. We're talking about the documentary as well, Full Tilt Boogie, which is like the behind the scenes of everything. And I mean, it did look like a fun set to be on. It looked like a fun ride was had. There were some issues with like the unions and stuff when they were making this film. It was great to see all of the effects being put together, wouldn't it?
I think so. It's really interesting because it started life as when Tarantino was trying to get his career off the ground prior to Reservoir Dogs. Even he got paid $1,500 to write this script for KMB Effects, which was
Okay.
Robert Kurtzman,
Yeah.
Howard Berger, and Greg Nicotero. So it was originally written as like a below $1 million budget effects movie for them to just showcase their effects.
Yeah.
And so
Okay.
with them, and then obviously Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, El Mariachi, Desperado came out. They met on the festival circuit, Rodriguez and Tarantino, didn't they?
Mm.
And then they wanted to make something together. And Rodriguez had read this script and was like, we got to get the rights back off them. So then they came on board as co-producers and gave the rights back over because it was originally going to be Kurtzman who directed. And yeah, they found a way of getting it back to Rodriguez. So yeah, I think it's all the better for it because they end up with $20 million, I think, which
Yeah.
this film has no right to be made for $20 million. Like, and
Yeah.
they
So
seem to have kept adding things just
19,
along,
19
along the
million, but
way.
then the box office made like 60 million. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
and knocked it out of the park. Yeah,
yeah, it's
and
it's
it's
just
still making money. I mean, they've made so much off of it, like a TV show and however many sequels and all sorts. So
Made a few bob off me renting it earlier on this week.
get that check drop in. Um, but yeah, when we talk about the effects, or the effects are are amazing. There's obviously there are some a lot of the transformations and the kills and stuff are all like CGI, but like most of it's practical, isn't it? Like when they're fully transformed.
Yeah.
And a lot of the effects used to honestly really terrify me. Like Salma Hayek's transformation, I've always been scared of that. Old Danny Trejo, no neck vampire, he was always scary. And then when they all start turning up, the shot where Harvey Keitel comes out from underneath the bar and you just see them all standing there. Oh, like even now, it's just like, oh, it's just horrible. Just obviously when
That
the bats have
horrible
flown in.
crotchless,
But then also, do you
just
remember the moment
smooth groined monsters?
when it shows all their faces up close as well?
previous part.
Like
What was that?
when it shows all their faces up close, before they're about to like fight, like all of them, it shows probably like four or five of them like right up close, and they're all so different and just horrific. And yeah,
But they only had apparently they also only had 6 full suits. So
yeah,
all of those, and I was really trying to pick out this time
yeah.
that in the wides, like who are the ones wearing the full suits and who's just like in some sort of like
Leotard.
coloured onesie,
Yeah.
because that's much less threatening. And they've got a few statues that are just in the back like that.
Okay.
Off the back of the Thriller video.
The suits, obviously, you got that one with the big horrible mouth in its belly.
Oh,
That's a horrible
love it.
one. If you were there and that kicked off, you'd be like, "What's this one?" All the rest are horrible enough, but what are you doing? What are you playing at?
I mean, if anything, they're saving time, aren't they? Like it's going straight in. Like there's
Yeah.
no going down the
No,
esophagus.
going down the
They're
old
just
gullet. No, straight in.
straight in the stomach. It's
That
efficiency.
that is a great moment
Efficiency
when
vampire
like
scale.
a great moment when four of them like face off against the other four as well. That's cool. All like walking towards each other. I don't know. I feel like it's just got so many good moments from like action films, from like samurai movies, like all these like obviously vampire movies as well. Like these face-offs and yeah, I just feel like it's paced so well. And I know we talking about comparing it to Sinner. Sorry, Andy.
You're not allowed to do that, actually, Ben. I don't know if you've heard from Daryl 1579
Not
on the
Daryl.
internet, but don't compare any film to any other, because if that's how you understand things, Ben, with comparisons, then
I just
get
feel
to
like
prison.
this is a great example of like pacing something that could easily be over in like 2 minutes. Like, and then the vampires attack. Okay, so what are we gonna do with it? It's just paced so well, like dispatching the first wave, establishing the rules, building some alliances, then having to face and then something's trying to get in, so it is like a siege movie. Then
It
it
is very like a
becomes
game of two halves, isn't it?
yeah,
It's like you defeat that one team, and then you go, hang on, sorry, there's been a signal. It's like between two waves of COD zombies. It's like prepare your base, get ready.
yeah.
The horde is coming.
It's just great, and I feel like yeah, unfortunately that's where Sinners kind of let itself down because I feel like once the hinges were kicked off the door and that it just felt like everyone
You wanted
died.
the second wave. You wanted KKK
Yeah.
vampires to turn up.
Oh
Yeah,
hell yeah.
yeah, yeah. What I will say as well though is they managed to stretch out the thriller aspect
Yeah.
for an hour. It's an hour and 1 minute
Yeah,
before any vampires are even hinted at. And when it comes out, the first hint is the green blood on the knife. But like that first hour just still goes at such a pace, like,
Yeah.
and it's so entertaining. Like all of the different characters in there are absolutely brilliant. Like
Yeah.
down to the first entrance of Michael Parks, even like he's fucking
Yeah.
amazing.
Michael. I mean, Michael Parks is always great in there. There's always like, oh no, what's he gonna do? That's what I literally always feel like with Michael Parks. But yeah, even this opening sequence is great because what happened was I tried to watch it on VHS originally, and like the copy I had was like all damaged, and I was struggling a little bit. So when they were in the background, like the Gecko brothers were in the background hiding with their hostages. Like for some reason, when I was watching it the first time round, I didn't realize. So then I had to switch over to my DVD copy, and then you can see him in the background. You can see him like lurking there in the background when Michael
Yeah.
Parks is chatting. Yeah, it's really
Oh
good.
really?
Yeah,
I didn't
and
clock
then
that
and when he
actually.
goes over and gets a drink, it's like they're literally standing right there. But it's cool to see that as
put
well.
I
like
do wonder
sunglasses and hats on they sell at the shop, and they're just like this.
whatever happens to those hostages that they've got there though, because as soon as shit kicks off, they've
They just go.
disappeared.
They leg it,
And
yeah.
then when they talk about the body count on the news report later, they're not included.
No, they
I
must have
just assume,
escaped.
oh, that's how ruthless they are. They just bang, bang, done. Let's
Yeah,
go. But they're
No, I
not
think
even in the body count.
they must have escaped, and maybe that's why they're so sensitive. But no, you're not allowed to escape, you lot, this family.
Yeah, we really
Um,
pissed off that we let these other girls go. Now we're just stuck with a bank teller.
so
Mm.
that's it. So we get our first. You get our opening scene. You already conjured it, Ben. So it is this film, which is on the face of it a thriller for the first half. We get this. We won't repeat any of the context of the casual conversation between the petrol
Not
shop
casual, is
man.
it?
They talk about the weather or something, don't they? They don't talk about anything problematic at all. And he goes, "Can I borrow
Nothing
your toilet?"
problematic.
Yes, please.
I do think they're setting them up to die a horrible death, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's so. Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm watching that Full Tilt Pookie as well. I love. They do an interview with Michael Parks, and he's so sage, and he's
Yeah,
so wise in how he speaks, and he's really like. They ask him like, "What do you love about acting?" And he's like, "The humanity of it. Like it's about
yeah,
who you meet and so on." And then at the end of the movie, they do a montage, or at the end of the documentary, they do a montage of like what do you love about working in the film industry? And he's like, all the money and the girls and the free meals. He's
I mean,
like,
fair enough, isn't it?
like setting himself up as this like sage sort of like sensei of acting to then like
Free meal.
The
free meal,
experience
free
of shooting
hotel.
this film crushed him, obviously. So yeah, the Gecko brothers, they're holding up the liquor store, and when they come out, when he goes off, when McGraw goes off to have a whittle, they come out and they say,
Thankfully, in a soundproof toilet
in a
where he
soundproof
can
toilet, because they're
hear,
all shouting,
they can hear the toilet flushing, but he can't hear them effing and bloody
effing
jeffing
and
at
effing
this.
and jeffing. And obviously Richie
That
is,
line, everybody be cool, you
yeah,
be cool. Didn't even hear that. He was not cool at all.
no, Richie is obviously
Someone's out here telling you to be cool. What?
Didn't even notice him coming straight up to her with a gun behind us.
Richie's obviously
Not much
bloodthirsty,
belief
so
there.
like he's kind of inventing stuff. Like he obviously Seth doesn't, not Seth, sorry, Pete Bottoms, his name is, doesn't mouth help me, and Richie just wants to kill him, so he goes up and kills the
He goes, oh, he
ranger.
mouthed help me. Did he?
I do love how they set that up though, like the dynamic between the two brothers and how he's just whispering in his ear. And
Yeah,
like whenever then he relays it, it's something that's absolutely unhinged, and you're like, well,
yeah,
that didn't happen.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
it
yeah.
just they do
It
so
is
little
interesting
to
because
set them up.
they're both obviously psychopaths, but like Seth
Mm.
is like a functioning psychopath, but Richie just can't let that side of him. And obviously, when it's established that he busted him out of the clink, is it kind of it develops their relationship even more so, doesn't it? Especially when there starts to be tension between them when Richie's like, I broke you out, and Seth's like,
Mm.
just punches him, knocks him out. That's so stressful. That bit I mean, even though you know what's going to happen, but that bit when they're hiding in the RV toilet is so stressful because I'm like, shut up, for
Yeah,
God's
yeah.
sake.
And he
I'm with a
really
kid at
deserves
this.
it.
I'm with a kid at this point. Like, I wouldn't have tried that hard to not get because actually, it's not that you even betrayed them; it's that they fucked it up. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, you've been captured. Actually,
Yeah,
Yeah.
So-
yeah,
Well, even she turns around, she's like, thank you.
yeah.
When he does it, she's like, thanks. And he's like,
Well,
yeah.
Cheech Marin when he's closing the door when she's on the toilet, just like
Oh, so
it's,
great.
it's,
Yeah,
it's horrible,
absolutely
isn't it?
great.
Um, yeah. So obviously they kill the clerk. They have a shootout, don't they?
Excellent
And
shootout. I love their toilet roll bomb that
yeah,
yeah,
they like, and it
shoot out
sets
the
up.
bottles.
I think that's like one of the things about Seth Gecko's character in it. Like he's resourceful, and they
Yeah,
set that up from the beginning. Like he's immediately like, I've got a plan. I've got a bog roll.
yeah.
Slide out on fire. Whoosh! Shoot out the bottles,
He's
and it's all
resourceful, and Richie is just chaos, isn't he?
yeah,
And
completely.
and
yeah,
he's had a shot in his hand, a whole shot in his hand at this
oh
point.
yeah. So they obviously kill the clerk, set the place on fire, leave, and it explodes. And then they get on the road, and that's when we see the whole
X-ray vision of a lady in the boot.
X-ray vision of a lady in the boot. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What a weird
Where,
shot.
it is a weird shot, but where have we seen something like that before? Because I was a bit like, because obviously we get the trunk shots in all like Tarantino and I guess this Rodriguez film as well.
Isn't there? I feel like there's something. Is there another Tarantino film where they've got a bomb in a
Yeah,
boot or something, and you see through? Trying to think
yeah,
what it is.
yeah. What is it?
It's
I
very
th
much like of the era, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's very much sort of a old
absolutely.
Let's
thrillers
just
and
do
dramas
that.
where you get
Do
like a
that.
cross section of you get a cross section of the car and you see that there is a what's in the suitcase or who's in the boot.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's very like of a moment. I think that's a era of filmmaking that
Mm.
Tarantino and Rodriguez really love.
Absolutely, yeah. So they go to a motel. They rent a room, and the guy, he's ringing the bell over and over and
Oh,
over,
I love that
and
bit.
the guy comes out, and he goes, "What do you want?" He's like, "I want what was it? I want a room, you
Mean
miserable
Mean
bastard.
bastard.
old
Oh, you mean old
bastard.
bastard. What do you think I want?"
And
Um,
then the way he comes out, he's like, like he's
And
really
he's like,
like,
okay then,
yeah.
okay
so
then, you can have a room, but no
Seth's like,
cable, no aircon, no water bed.
"No,
But his brother, such a suck to go on. Oh, we got a water bed. We're on the run from
we're on the run, mate. Come on, we can sleep anywhere." When they go to the room, obviously Seth gives Richie a talking to and says like, "Just look after her. Oh no, he gives her the rules, and he gives her the rules. Just says like,
Yeah,
don't do everything we say. Don't speak when you're spoken to. Stay still. Don't try and run because I've got 6 little friends who are
but
faster
it's
than you. He means bullets. But
When
Richie,
he described them as six little friends, I thought of the cartoon bullets from Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
oh
They're
I
yeah,
all,
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And you can already see at this stage that Richie has got bad intentions. Like he's listening,
very
but
bad.
he's just thinking. And then when he leaves, he goes and sits on the bed and says, "Hostage, can you come and sit next to me on the bed and watch TV with me?"
do you want to come
Absolutely
and
not.
watch some
He
royalty-free
hesitates.
cartoons with me on the telly?
Can you just say? Can
Spoke
you just say
hands.
no?
Yeah.
Seth goes out. He goes to get a bit of grub, doesn't he? Goes to get a wimpy and chips.
Let's get a big Kahuna burger.
Yeah, big
Oh
Actually,
Kahuna
God,
Burger,
yeah!
yeah.
There we go. The linked cinematic world of Tarantino and Rodriguez.
Gets himself a Sprite, I imagine, with it. Um, and
Yep.
then, yeah, when he gets back, well, we never see what's happened, but I think at some point it points out like that. I forget who has the conversation where it is pointed out it's not in front of his brother, but it's that, oh, and your brother's a horrible rapist as well, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's got the flash frames, hasn't it? When
That's
he
it.
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
he says he like suddenly realizes he pulls out the third burger and he's like, wait a minute, where's the teller? And
Yeah.
then he goes
He
into the
goes
he's
like,
like, oh,
"Ooh."
in the other room. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He's like, yeah.
He goes, "Ooh." I don't
I've
know.
long forgotten about her, mate. But yeah, and then he goes in and it's the flash frames, which are
There's the
really effective.
flashes. Yeah, the flash frames, but then we do see the body like in the background of
Mm.
the like out of focus, and understandably, George Clooney, Seth Gecko goes nuts at him, like throws him against the wall, just says like, "You're a twat," basically. But I think
Well,
mainly because they need a hostage, but also I think he says like killing people who don't need to be killed and raping women is like not what we do, pretty much.
yeah, I think the first thing he says is, "Do you think this is who I am?" Which I think is like such a banging line to be
Yeah,
like, yeah, you think that you're a criminal, but I'm doing this as a professional, and
yeah,
Yeah.
your view of what you think being a
yeah.
criminal is just like rape and
Warped.
murder.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
like, I'm
from a
just
storytelling perspective, do you think this is preparing us for being, positioning the Tarantino brother as horrible and we'll be quite happy to see him dispatched of?
Yeah, I
Or
mean,
are we allowing us to keep George Clooney as, even though you're a baddie, we're
I think
differentiating you from this truly terrible man
I think a bit of
so we
both.
can get on board with you?
I think a
yeah,
bit
I
of
think
both
it's
because it establishes Tarantino as a threat, so that when Juliette Lewis's character comes into it, every time he's looking at him, we're like, we know what he's capable of now. We've seen it, and
yeah,
also like anytime George Clooney is trying to bargain with Harvey Keitel, or maybe trying to convince him that we are going to let you go, we believe as the audience that he probably will when it comes to him. Push comes to shove, he probably will. So even though the family are unsure about what the threat of these are, it's already established now what, like for us, what the stakes are, I guess.
yeah. And also that he's not got complete control over his brother.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
yes, they're a unit, but they're a very volatile unit.
Yeah,
So like when shit goes down, he can't necessarily rely on him.
no.
But it's
Yeah,
brilliantly
it's
done. So
a weird one, isn't it? Because when the tensions start arising between the two of them, I don't know. I feel like it's supposed to make it so that when one of them does, quote unquote, die, like we're supposed to feel Seth's pain, but I don't know if that quite translates as well as it
Bloody
could.
relief. You'd be like, thank goodness for
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah.
for the
Oh, for
audience,
God's
yeah.
sake. But then we do see Seth's volatile side as well, when he's threatened or someone's rude to him or treats him in a way that he doesn't seem as respectful, like he physically
Or
can't let
even,
it go.
yeah, or even asks him to, like, I'm pretty sure when he goes to walk into the subtly named Tizzy Twister later on, the man just goes, "Oh, hang on a minute. He's probably just going to ask for their ID or something,
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
or ask if they had the right profession." And he goes, "Right, battered."
yeah,
Yeah, battered.
yeah.
What if you'd said, "Oh, hang on a minute. Have you got a loyalty card?" Doesn't even get his words out.
A T-Twister loyalty card.
Hang on a minute.
Imagine if
You're our
that's
millionth customer. No, battered.
You're a millionth dead customer. It establishes the family as well. So Jacob Fuller, Harvey Keitel, a pastor, experiencing a crisis of faith, was brought on by the death of his wife. He's on vacation with his kids, Scott and Kate, in their RV.
He's got the classic problem of the signs, hasn't he? Sometimes your wife will die and it'll give you a crisis of faith.
Yeah, that
And
always happens,
it takes a non-human creature to bring you
doesn't
back
it?
to the
Yeah.
Lord.
Are we talking? Yeah, this is signs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like,
exactly. She's pinned against that tree. She's an ass. She's talking gibberish. She's talking bloody gibberish. Oh, right.
I always then get it mixed up with the scary movie version
Oh,
where
yeah,
she's like,
yeah, definitely.
where it's Denise Richards going, "No sex. I'm sorry, you're making no sense."
Um, so why have they've stopped at the inn. There's no room at the inn. They've stopped at the inn because Harvey Keitel's knackered. He's absolutely
Just
hanging
having
at
a
the moment.
quality holiday, aren't they? They're just
And he
on a
does say, "I
drive.
just want to sleep in an actual bed. Don't want to sleep in the RV bed."
find it
So
funny that the kids are the ones who are like more like let's stay in the RV, and
yeah,
you normally it's usually the kids who are like
yeah,
fuck this RV, let's get out of the
Yeah.
RV.
Yeah, when I was on the road, we didn't even have an RV, but like I didn't pass a Happy Eater or a Little Shepherd thinking, can we stop there?
Yeah,
Can we stop and not be in the car for a second?
Jacob
they run
Harvey
him
Keitel.
over, don't they?
Oh yeah, yeah. There's that bit. They have a bit of a stare down with him, don't they? Where he just and they go, "What a creepy guy."
And he clocks him, and he's like,
Yeah,
I got an idea, I got a plan for them.
yeah. How do we feel
Could
about
get
Gecko's? Sorry, Seth's Gecko massive tribal tattoo that like goes up his arm and in on his neck. Oh, to be fair, I think it looks good on him, doesn't it?
apparently he got the idea from watching Once Were Warriors, didn't he?
Oh,
That had just
okay.
come out at that point, and so they're obviously covered in Maori
Yeah,
tattoos. So he stole it from that. But it's funny because like that
I love that
obviously
film.
like I think Dust Till Dawn has that low key cultural significance
Mm,
because then after that everybody went and got tribal tattoos in the
yeah,
90s.
Yeah.
That was the main tattoo that people had. Like now people have got these patchwork tattoos and whatever, but then it was all the tribal tattoos. But also like where I'm from in Bournemouth, there was a club called Dust Till Dawn. Um, and
what's
it was
there?
there was a club and it was notoriously ratchet, like really really sketchy.
Hell
But
yeah.
like, I was walking down the road the other day and I saw like a bloke with his kids and he was like, look kids, and the kids were like about 7 and 8 and he was like, that used to be a club called Dust Till Dawn. And I was like, how much of this story are you going to tell your kids?
It's
What
absolutely
do they
minging
need to
there.
know about it?
Imagine guys, there's a documentary about it. Yeah, I'll watch this.
The
Imagine that
stickiest
as well.
floors.
South coast of England, a nightclub called Dusk Till Dawn. Winter, but it opens about 3:30.
Oh,
Yeah, I do think
Getting after the
this
school run.
film. This film had like a massive impact though, didn't it? Like,
oh yeah, definitely.
there's
Like,
all these
I mean,
like little
tribal.
cultural things that seeped
Yeah,
in.
you've conjured it with tribal tattoos. There was a Nintendo like Game Boy Advance that had a tribal tattoo.
there was
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
the grey one, wasn't it?
The grey one with a little tribal tattoo on it.
Yeah, even the handheld consoles are getting in on it.
Even clamshell 32-bit consoles handheld. Even they would get
Yeah,
influenced by Dusk Till Dawn.
I like it. I feel like when he like has the jacket off and he's just in the waistcoat and the with the tattoo, he looks pretty badass. It's surprising really that I guess he didn't venture into any other like sort of genre movies. Like,
Well, he did. Batman and Robin was pretty soon after it, wasn't it? And then I think
yeah,
that kind of labelled him as
yeah,
family entertainment man, really.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sort of. I mean, he did Out of Sight's
Out of
kind of
Sight. I was
genre.
going to say that. Yeah, that's like a what? That's just like a thriller, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did it? I wondered. Did in the 90s? Do you remember a lot of people walking around in waistcoats? Like, did this film do for waistcoats what it did for tribal tattoos at the time?
Well, waistcoats were for me at least. It was kind of like the mid 2000s like indie thing where it was like waistcoats over like
Yeah.
I don't know like Razor Light or the Kooks or something like everyone had a waistcoat on and
Waistcoats, knee
They watched
braces,
it.
shaved head.
yeah, a tie with no shirt. You know, like a tie
Oh,
over a t-shirt,
a skinny tie.
a skinny tie.
It
I
was
definitely did that.
always
I definitely did that. I remember doing the waistcoat thing. I used to have a waistcoat with like a little skull and crossbones patch on it. I thought I
nice.
was the bloody bee's knees. I did, mate. But
Little did you know you were influenced by Dust Till Dawn.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, which
Thing
I
is, it had a
hadn't.
5-year period of being Dusk Till Dawn, and then we hit the hit the 2000s, Lord of the Rings comes out, and it's very Hobbit core at that point.
Hobbit
What are you
core.
going
And
to
I
say Matrix? I
no
didn't realize
no
you're getting Hobbit core.
a nice wool, come 2004, a nice woolen one with your pipe.
Oh yeah. Well, you've rocked that, Mikel, definitely. You've rocked the
Yeah,
pipe.
with your old King's leaf, you'll be having a great time.
You're not even smoking that, are you? No, that's just a prop. It's just a
But they'll
prop.
CGI dragon smoking afterwards.
So yeah, Seth and Richie just break in. Well, they don't break in. They knock on the door. They ask for some ice, and then they walk in. And I like it how the son, what's the son's name again? Scott, is just like
Right,
twiddling
thank
away on his
God.
guitar, and he's
Yeah.
like always still playing. Mid-90s, he would have been playing some Nirvana, he would playing some grunge, would he? He would have been playing something like that.
He doesn't even
Even
like to play.
as
It's just
he,
like going. Eh,
I,
eh, eh.
I like how Jacob says to him, "Well, I'm glad you're relaxing. I'm glad."
but even I think it's as Seth comes and grabs him, he's still like,
Yeah,
should I stop playing?
I've got to
Like,
finish this
he's still
riff.
like,
I've got to
yeah.
finish this riff. Otherwise, I'll never get it.
They
And
put their
then
hands on the shoulders and go kidnapped, and then
yeah,
well,
obviously Juliette Lewis is in the shower. She comes out, and that is when Richie starts eyeing her up. He has a little moment where he hears her say, I mean, talking of cunnilingus, there's a lot of that in Sinners. This is one thing that's automatically mentioned right now. I love Richie just thinks she definitely said that. He's just convinced. Remember that thing you
So
said to
much
me
so he even
earlier?
brings it up later. She's
Yeah.
like, what are you-
Remember that thing you said earlier? What? No, I don't remember that.
yeah.
Well, I would do that for you if you want me to. She's like, what the fuck?
I guess it
What's this?
shows what his state of mind does. What I would
Yeah.
have preferred, though, rather than be completely imagined, and I might not be able to come up with it fast enough now. What could she have said that sounded like it that you just misheard?
Oh God. Well, first of all, she says his name. She definitely didn't know his name.
No,
Uh,
it's not at that point.
Richie, could you?
Will you stop being so Richie? Will you stop being so bossy? What?
Yeah. All right, we're coming now. Kidnapped. Just please stop being bossy.
Stop
Sorry.
being bossy. I could do that for you if you wanted to.
Yeah, and I mean, it is a bit dodgy. It was very dodgy because characters they're supposed to be kids under 21. We don't know exactly how old, but I guess it still establishes what a wrong and Richie is. If we didn't, as if we needed that.
As if we didn't need any more context on Quentin Tarantino being a total weirdo.
Yeah.
Oh, Richie, don't mind my dad. He's ever so fussy. What? Stop saying things. I can miss it.
um, I hate it when Richie turns into a vampire as well because it's horrible makeup in it. He looks
Oh,
like
he's got a
He
very big
just
head. He's
looks
like,
like him now. He
looks
just looks
like
like Tarantino plus 20
he
years.
looks like Andre the Giant, but only Andre the Giant's head.
he's got a big giant head. He looks like Robbie Rotten from Lazy Town. That's what he said.
I love, I
It's
love it.
literally
They've not tried giving him scales or anything like the rest of him. They're just
No.
like he's bad enough as he is.
They go-
Just-
Well, it's only Selma Hayek that gets to become
go-
literally Snake Woman.
Oh yeah.
it was pretty cool. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. They go, you know your hairline starts back there. We're gonna put it right back to about here. Instead of a forehead, 19 head. That's what I got going on.
Oh my goodness, you turned to Ant McPartlin.
Oh my god.
Does that make George Clooney Deck then?
Yeah.
It does.
I would watch this film complete. Everyone talks about Muppet remakes. No, Ant and Dec remakes, shot for shot, exactly the same, except it's Ant and Dec because they're a good double act.
They're a great double
Country's
act.
finest.
They only ever stand from left to right, Ant and Declan, don't they? Maybe Richie and
That's
Seth
right.
do something similar. So they kidnap him, they take him in the RV, and obviously Seth explains to Jacob exactly what they're going to do. They're going to get them across the border in Mexico, and then they're going to wait with them at this club before their contact comes and gets them to like a safe place for like fugitives or something like that.
And they're not allowed to negotiate on the rate. That is another thing.
Oh yeah,
that
did you
Richie's
negotiate?
banging on about.
No, I didn't.
No, you can't. I hate
not
that.
DFS, mate.
That's proved incorrect by the end of the movie.
Yeah,
Only if
no,
something only if something
right.
completely untoward happens, like there's vampires. I used to get that.
That's the only time.
Working in like a high street shop when you're a thing, and someone comes in, I'm like, anything? Will you give us a discount for cash? And he goes, it's Woolworths, mate. This isn't
I
Because
bought
I
cash.
was, I have just been attacked by vampires outside. Oh well then.
Well, in that
10%
case,
off
you
for
can
a
Hey,
try and
what
pull
were
that
they?
clever.
Were they psychos? Were they psychos? Psychos don't explode when hit by sunlight, mate. Cheech, you've been in this film 3 times, you still haven't fucking learned. For God's sake. I do three.
One of them, you were a vampire.
One of them, you were a vampire, you wanker. Um, so yeah, essentially, what they just want to get across the border in the RV. Um, Richie is watching the kids in the back. Nice. Well, not nice.
Stop leaving him to do the,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
important.
Yeah, don't let him to babysit.
Staring
just-
at feet.
I'll just ask this fox to look after my chickens, actually. Just whack him in the henhouse right now. It'll keep,
Yeah, it'll be
he'll keep the
alright.
rats out, won't he?
He'll be fine. He's already eaten. He's already eaten recently.
I quite like that they give him a bit as well, because obviously vampires known for biting people,
Mm,
and they give Richie a bit to just like absolutely castrate him.
yeah.
Because he's, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that was supposed to be a comment on vampirism or just a comment on him being weird.
Yeah.
Put your bit
maybe.
in. I would have assumed it's just a retainer. Come
Yeah,
on
yeah.
now, the dentist say you've got to wear this every day. Mum and Dad didn't put all that money into dentistry for you to not put your retainer in.
Considering how good a job Mum and Dad did with that, they've turned out pretty shit, really.
Yeah. Awful. So they get across the border at this point. The Gecko brothers and Kate get in the toilet.
All
to
hiding in the
hide.
dunny.
Definitely shut up what you're doing. Now we're gonna have the biggest blazing row possible. Obviously, the guard at the what is he? Cheech? He's playing the border guard.
Yeah, the
He
border guard.
he hears a commotion in there and he says, "I'm coming aboard."
And he
But
goes,
Kate
"What's
says,
that? Oh, it's my daughter. She's in the toilet."
"Yeah, he
Forgot to
lets him
mention that
down
before.
first. Just me and my son. Just me and my
And
son."
also, Scott has that moment, that crisis of confidence just before he's like, I'll
Yeah.
bloody tell him. I'll tell him.
Yeah.
And he has to
Yeah.
kind of wrangle
There's
the
a lot.
situation.
It's
There's
like,
a
I'm
lot
in
of
charge
this.
here.
So
Oh.
Jacob, when he says I'm in charge, I'm in control. There's a lot of that, but there's a lot of that from Seth as well. So it's weird. There's like this kind of like they're bouncing off each other. He thinks he's in control. Seth thinks he's in control when really none of them are ever in control because
I bet they had a
too
good
many-
chat about that when it was just
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
It was like, I'm the dad of this group,
Yeah,
actually.
I'm the
It's funny
dad.
how we're
You could
getting
be-
on.
You could be the mad uncle, but I'm the dad of this situation. All right, what?
I like the negotiation that Harvey Keitel has with George Clooney at this point. It's like, right, you do these things and we will let you go tomorrow. And he goes, fair enough. But if your weird brother touches my daughter, I will kill him. And he goes, that's fair, actually. It's fair.
Fair enough.
Yeah, he's
I'll
like,
accept
fair
that.
enough. Yeah. And then he goes, but I will kill all of you if anything goes wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that your bar for killing us is set somewhat lower than mine is for killing you.
Yeah, exactly.
So if I do something even slightly wrong, you get to kill me, but it's only fair enough.
Yeah. What if I kill your brother? Is that count as doing something wrong, and then you'll kill us all? Like, what's the rules? What's the rules here?
Presumably. They got a moral code.
Yeah. So obviously they'd managed to get across the border because Kate pretends she was having a whittle. And wait, were they just in a little shower bit? I guess they were at this point, weren't they?
Yeah.
Including
Steph knocked him out as well.
including what's his name's knocked out, and he's like pinned him against a wall with his
And when,
elbow.
and when he wakes up as well, he's like, "God, what happened?" It's like, "Well, you just." What does he say? He just like, "You just."
Oh, you
over
banged
it.
your head on the toilet or something. You must be really tired. Weren't you just trapped in the toilet like those Kryptonians from the end of Superman 2, just like against the glass in the shower?
So once they're in Mexico, they go to the Titty Twister, a strip club in the desert,
you
which is
what,
open from dusk till dawn. And that's where
The desert has not got the same sort of. Obviously, all cultures are different, but they haven't quite got the subtlety of great business naming puns that we have in this country, have you? The Titty Twister. Really
Twister.
straight up. It's no curl up and die for a hairdresser,
It
is
is
it?
weird in there as well because it does remind me of like a British ghost train inside. You know, like when like that sort of like
At
everything.
the fair, where there should be
at
like
the
someone
fair,
running across
with all
like a
these
little
fake
gantry across the
statues
front.
and everything's made of fiberglass and like nothing's.
Oh,
Do you know what I mean?
fiberglass.
It
And there's
just reminds me of that inside.
celebrities spray painted on the front, but not the ones you'd expect.
Yeah.
Here's Billy Piper. Here's
is Lawrence
now
Fishburne
there
from The
is-
Matrix.
I'm sure there is an absolute fleet of those out there now that have Quentin Tarantino and
Yeah,
George Clooney and Dust Till
absolutely.
Dawn,
Well, definitely
Yeah.
Selma
or
Hayek.
even Salma Hayek.
But
Yeah,
them with Selma Hayek's
a
in
bit,
a ton of those.
a
Not
bit like
always a
ghost.
ghost train. Sometimes one of those rhythm rides, but with
Yeah,
all the
yeah,
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 people
yeah.
spray painted on the back.
It's a bit like a ghost train, but also a bit like, when like a pub is like horror themed, like the one in Edinburgh, which is like the Frankenstein bar or something.
yeah,
It
yeah.
just reminds me a bit of that, when you walk in somewhere, you're like, all right, guy, I get it. I get it.
Is a mannequin you've stuck a black wig on and there's spray
Yeah.
cobwebs everywhere.
There's cobwebs everywhere. It's bloody spooky in here. It's bloody spooky. Jesus.
Electric
I quite
lights,
like
but they are drawn but they are made of like black candles.
Yeah. It's
they,
good though.
the neon sign as well, and it's got the fingertips
Yeah.
just pinching the nip on the.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
good.
It's just like, yeah, that's quite that was that, and it's a big sign like that.
Yeah. Oh, it's
Really
massive.
had to think about that and
What
make
about the
it.
electric bill? That's what I kept thinking.
Well, they don't have it on. The vampires, they wouldn't have anything on during the day, would they? So they'd be all right.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah,
All
good
their
point.
electricity purchases are happening in those cheap hours when it's off
Yeah.
peak.
So they're going to be met by their contact Carlos at dawn, and he's going to escort them to the sanctuary El Rey, which is a place of safety for fugitives. Um, but yeah, all they got to do, go into the bar, chill out, order
Not
order a
causing
bit of food, which is apparently the best in Mexico, even though Seth says I doubt that. What's going on in that kitchen? If the band are anything to go by, like what is going on in that kitchen? What would you order? I don't know. They don't get around to ordering food. It's not like Weatherspoons where they go table
They
number.
do have. They've got a box with a pig's head in it, and it just says
Yeah.
carnitas. Carnitas is like, yeah, like just mixed meats.
Mixed meat. I was gonna say, yeah. Well, we've all had a dodgy kebab late at night.
Yeah.
And that's mixed meats, I expect. I'm not gonna turn my nose up at this place. Definitely not.
I mean, even if those mixed meats could be human mixed
Yeah.
meats.
Well, yeah, actually, maybe not. They go and sit. They go and sit.
It's a high
at-
bar though. Like the best food in all of Mexico. What that place that country that has really good food.
Yeah.
We've only just arrived in Mexico as well, so
Yeah.
Isn't that like the best food in all of Paris?
yeah. Sit yourself down and order with the QR code. All right.
Eat out to help out, guys. He's just giving the whole speech on the door.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, the pussy speech. So
Eat out to help out is the thing he's done.
That's what
Again,
he did. He's selling that.
In the Anton Deck remake, you just
Yeah,
get
another
Rishi
Rishi
Sunak being
Sunak.
the guy at the front.
So he gives the old pussy speech, which is obviously ends on an iconic line, which is, "If you can find better pussy anywhere, fuck it." And for that, Seth goes, "I'm gonna kick your head in." Well, it's not for that. It's just
He goes, "Hang on a
I'm
sec,
not worried
right?"
about it, honestly. All of that is such a plethora
yeah.
of pussy that it's
And I don't know if I
it's-
fully agree, because when you get in there and you see the clientele, I mean, I don't know.
yeah,
It's a
bit of
lovely,
a
it's a
sausage
lovely,
party, if anything.
it's a lovely variety, but I reckon there's maybe like 6 strippers to like
I didn't see one chicken, and he was
100.
clear.
No, no,
Like, chickens are on the menu.
Oh. So obviously they kick old Cheech Pussy. What's his name? Chet Pussy.
Chet pussy.
Kick his head in,
They
and
beat
then
him up, and they just walk inside thinking, "And there will be no consequences of this action." I
right.
will
I've
bid you
I've
good
obviously
evening.
never done this, but imagine walking into a place, beating up the bouncer before you go in, and then going, right, that's it. Now we're a cock and a walk, mate.
Yeah. If you were downtown with Town Centre, you go into Yates's wine lodge. If I dragon punched the bouncer as I walked in and went, "Right, I'll have 4 blue aftershock, please," I wouldn't have had the first one down me before I was.
You would not get it down you.
Yeah.
Or a blue aftershock as well. Jesus, you have dragon breath in the end.
Yeah. That's how you do it. You freeze breath them when the bouncers inevitably come in greater force to beat you to death.
You look over and you see him at the door pointing, going, there he is over there.
Yeah, the street safe guys will be over in there with the lanyards before you know it.
Oh my God.
In the clink again.
So first of all, the bartender refuses to serve them. Only bikers
It's
and
only for-
truckers are welcome. To which obviously Jacob says, "Well, if you look here, I've got a lovely RV outside, and it's not just bikers and truckers are only welcome, but friends of apparently as well." Because he goes, "And these lot are
Yeah.
with me."
These lot are with me. These are my friends. And I don't know if you know this, but to drive an RV, you actually have to have a Class 2 commercial
Oh, yeah,
license.
yeah.
There you go.
You proper like Arnold Rimmers this.
Loophole them.
So obviously, you get that one of the big guys like puts his hand on Seth, which he obviously can't let go. He's fuming about it. Does he call him sausage fingers, something like that? I think so. Um, so pretty
Yeah,
much,
vampires famously. Do you think if they'd just gone, oh, fair enough, this isn't for us, and left, the vampires would have been like, Danny Trejo, you piece of shit. They're the only humans that have come in to this bar all night. Why are you being
Well,
so surely?
Well,
true.
I wondered, where he initially refuses them.
Mm,
I was like, why would they initially refuse them? Because is that just a plot hole? Like, surely you'd be like,
yeah,
more the merrier.
more,
This is going
yeah.
to be a banquet. I
He'd
was
say
like,
like, I'll make an exception for you this time.
yeah. Well, I wonder whether the initial refusal was because he was like, I want a family. Like, we don't want some tourists in here.
Yeah.
That then we're going to get found out.
Yeah. So
Oh yeah, you don't want the
bikers and
federales finding out about your
Yeah, nobody
vampire
gives a
bar.
shit about bikers and truckers. They're
I see.
transient anyway. And a lot of them are criminals.
See
But
what you
then
mean.
when a family strolls in, he's like, ugh. And then they have the conversation. He's like, actually, I'd quite like to kill them.
Yeah.
So he's
That's
like,
true.
the fact that he's
That's a,
loopholed me, yeah, you can stay. You
that's
prick.
that's a
Have
very
you ever
that's a
walked
very
into a
good
bar
point.
and gone, "I'll have a bottle, please, and 4 glasses"? So expensive. Who's gonna a couple of £100 for that? Why not?
Doesn't it
Maybe
like,
it's like having a glass of wine though. Maybe it's cheaper for him
Yeah,
to get
maybe
the
it is.
bottle.
Yeah.
Maybe 1996 is a different
You know, when
world.
those, not that I frequent any clubs like this, but you know when they go, "Do you want a big bottle of Grey Goose with a sparkler at the top for like £300?" What? Excuse me? I'm trying to make like
Going
50
to
quid
fancier
spread. That's a
nightclubs than me,
taxi
Ben.
included and dodgy kebab. Slamming the glass down as well. I was like, got a lot of rage going on, old poor Seth. Slamming the glass down.
Ricky.
Yeah.
Says to Juliette Bravo, no, that's not her name. Juliette Lewis. She says to her, right, here's how you drink tequila. Right? She takes to it like a duck to, oh, I'm not allowed to drink. It's
That's it.
because I'm not old enough. She's like, I'll immediately start with
Yeah.
tequila. Not having the head off your dad's beer or anything like that first. Straight to it.
Your dad's beer. Dad's right there as well. And
Bottle of
then,
snake bite round the back.
yeah. And then, so pretty much immediately, Santanico Pandemonium is given like introduction. Who does it?
Comes out in a very high waisted thong and has a
Danny
lovely
Trejo
dance.
does it as well. He's like
Yeah, he
barman
does it.
/ MC.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
I like also they do the little intros of Sex Machine and
Yeah.
I think Frost is Fred Williamson's character.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
you've got that little like they do it so well because it's like just a couple of shots per, but you've got Sex Machine, Greg Nicotero sits down
Nicotero, yeah, with his little knife, yeah.
yeah, and he's just playing with the lasso or playing with the whip. And he
And
just
he does start it, to be
anything.
fair. He lassoes his beer away.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. I'm like, who do you think you
Yeah.
are? Well, I got I got a whip, mate. So what you can do about it?
But it's not the whip then, and then because he pulls out a knife and then he flops the
Yeah.
the cock out, doesn't he?
It's not very floppy though. It's
gun
erect. It's an erect cock gun.
What? How does one operate that? Are we presuming that he's got to have something going on underneath the
Oh,
trout?
Yeah, I'm assuming
operate
that he is. I think like he's having to like tense. He probably has his real old fella tucked through the trigger mechanism. He just has to.
Exactly,
No,
yeah.
I reckon he's got
Pulled it through.
Yeah,
somehow it's connected. He's got something in his bottom, so he could just.
Yeah, he has to
squeeze it.
clench.
Okay. Yeah. It's a tense or a clench, depending on whether
yeah.
you want to flop it out or shoot it.
I imagine him going into like a weapons manufacturer and he's got like a little sketch he's done. Listen, no, you're gonna kick me out, I know, but have a look at this, right? And then the balls are gonna be like the chamber with the bullets in. Yeah.
Oh, the revolvers. Yeah,
You got it.
probably went to that
do it.
same. He probably went to that same shop in rainy Chicago that the fella from Seven went to get the
Oh yeah,
to get the knife strap on.
Knife strap
Oh
on. Yeah,
no!
it
Oh,
was probably
God.
next. Yeah, because it was custom, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, bloody
Yeah,
hell.
I think
Get
Frost
a
is-
name for myself. You make one person's weird sex weapon, and now
Frost is like just trying to play cards as well, isn't he? And he's
Yeah,
like,
no, he's doing domino towers whilst
That's
they're
it.
dancing at the table. Yeah.
he gets knocked over and he looks up like, you fucking.
Yeah, and then funny enough, when Sam Hayek walks past him later, he's got another set of domino towers that he's like, oh shit.
I didn't
He's
notice
gotta
that.
protect.
I didn't notice that. Um,
Well, that is if you're the roughest customer in the world, you go to like a really noisy bar to do an activity that
a
you would just
crossword.
be able to do in your house on your own. Yeah, it's got the Financial Times.
Yeah. You know when they do like some bars like randomly put like board games in there, and you're just like there was a proper rough bar in Bristol which had board games in it. And I remember seeing like people get the Jenga out and I'm like, this is not gonna end well. This is just people gonna be lobbing
No,
the wooden
in a really
blocks.
rough bind, you're having like a game of drafts.
What are you playing over there?
Backgammon.
Mousetrap. Trying to play Mousetrap. The smallest shake will make the diver jump up into the thing. Careful. Ruining it for
Yeah.
everyone.
Here I am. Here I am at the hottest and most violent strip club in London. What are you doing? Game of Kaplunk.
Buckaroo.
Yeah, you're like, come on. Operation.
You made it,
Keep the
bloody-
table still.
Everyone
Coyote Ugly having a game of Operation. Don't.
This is a good sketch.
Put your
This,
tits away. I've got to concentrate.
Get off the table, Leanne Rhymes. For fuck's sake.
it's fucking
Come
strip
on.
reels off my bloody game. Santanico Pandemonium does a lovely sexy dance with a snake as well, which is nice.
This
And
is
then-
the only thing that I really do think. I mean, okay, some attitudes and words that you say have aged since then, but this is the only one that I think the TikTok and Instagram have really upped the bar for what is a sexy dance these days.
But I was right. I'm not engaging with TikTok, so I don't know what's on there. I believe you when you say it. But what I was thinking, in comparison to Sinners, because you said previously, Sinners is a bit racy. It's got some sexual, let's say some sensual moments in it. But when you compare it to
spits
this,
in Michael B. Jordan's mouth.
yeah. But then, I mean, that's just a little bit gross. But like, in comparison to this, like you think like Sinners by today's standards, I feel like is fairly racy film because you're like,
Yeah.
oh wow, it actually has like unapologetic sex elements in it. Whereas this, so the bar is so much, the threshold is set so high of like what is acceptably.
Yeah. A woman who is
sexualized.
literally a demon comes out and goes, "Got a snake? Bit phallic in it, eh? Hey,
It's a little bit phallic. It's a bit big for me. Bit girthy.
apparently
this
Did
one.
you think of that time that Jennifer Lopez was in that sexy film? They're all doing the John Voight face at her.
Just blinking with one eye.
Yeah.
I think I like this.
Well, I suppose the pouring of the whiskey. First of all, a lot of whiskey wasted there. I feel like because most of it really, it's just going on the ground, isn't it? It's not going down his neck. I
Yeah,
also
she
feel like she
does
gives him a
drool
lot of
in his mouth.
attention.
She drools in his mouth as well. After that,
Yeah, she does.
she drinks a bottle of
Drinks
whiskey
it.
and then she pours it.
Yeah.
So there's some drooling. Vampires love a bit of drool, I guess.
Yeah, they do.
These vampires not as accurate at the drink as any chef at a good teppanyaki restaurant. Get that sake out, or get you from across the bloody room, squirt it in your gob.
So yeah, then the dance ends. The dance ends. That's the end of that dance. And what happens? Because it immediately kicks off, doesn't it? What is the?
So then Cheech Marin comes in with
That's
the
right.
big fella and
He beat the shit out of me.
and Freyo. Yeah, and they get ready to beat the shit out of him. And then well no, they do. They have a fight, don't they? And then they shoot him, and then they
Step Quentin Tarantino in his poorly hand again.
yeah, his
yeah.
hand gets re-stabbed.
His hand is proper bleeding, and then we see Salma Hayek looking at it, salivating.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
She
Do you
has
think if he hadn't got into a fight and had a bleed, would they have just, I don't know, slurped him off when they went to the toilet or something like that, or
I
would
don't
they just
know. I
left
reckon
it?
there's probably a moment in the night where they lock the door. I reckon. I feel like that's gonna happen at some point. But yeah, so
they do at that point, don't they?
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Imagine if it hadn't happened though, and it turns out that like, yes, I'm a vampire, but I am still trying to run a business. Notice I'm not Count Dracula. Like, just as a reminder, he is rich because he's a count, not because he's a vampire. The rest of us do have to work.
We've got jobs to feed, mate. Behind the bar, mate.
Yeah.
These guys are dancing.
Yeah, so Cheech Marin and the other guys, they kind of transform. They kind of have just got like their faces are a bit crumpled up. That's kind of all it is, isn't it?
Yeah, proper like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. a vampire has a crinkly nose.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
it's quite gross though, the way it like
Oh
splits. So
yeah,
I think
definitely.
the most shocking one is the girl who bars the door, and then she turns round, and then her whole face sort of like splits
It's
open. It's
basically the
quite,
Predator.
yeah. It
The
gets
w-
quite,
the Salma Hayek transformation is weird because it's got like two phases, isn't it? It kind of goes into a weird
yeah.
one where her head's like really wide, and then goes into like the standard one. I kind of want
But
to
they've
see
got
more of.
established the neck to head ratio,
Yeah,
and like that's a common theme for a lot of these vampires. They've
yeah.
got the
There
neck
isn't
just
too
goes
much
straight into
consistency
the.
though, is there? It seems like there are a few of them that've got a certain look. I guess like are the ones that are like older, the ones that are all like horrible, naked, shriveled.
I figured that it was because they'd been bats for too long,
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
so they were coming out of bat phase, and they were just a bit
they're
like, I
Oh
forgot,
very.
yeah,
like been
Those guys
flying
are very
high for a long
Roald Dahl's The
time.
Witches, aren't they? They're very.
Yeah, yeah, that is a good
very
comparison.
creepy.
Actually, they are very Roald Dolls witches.
They're
The
yeah,
the, the OG Nick Rogue one though, yeah, not the new one.
Oh yeah,
maybe
not
it's
the,
like
what?
Gremlins 2, and like Salma Hayek is the snake one.
Yeah. Have you seen that Key and Peele sketch where they're like talking about the gremlins?
So good.
We got an
You
electric
get a
gremlin.
gremlin.
A transgender one? Yes. No no's in this room.
Vegetable gremlin. It's like he's picked it from my mind.
Yeah.
It's
So
like
then,
that, basically. They had that same meeting.
so it all kicks off. Obviously there are lots of other humans around, including Sex Machine and Frost, and yeah, it just turns into loads of humans getting slurped off, loads of vampires getting their heads kicked. There's a great. I love this bit where Frost like throws each vampire onto like a leg of the table.
Yeah, they all wait and get
They all wait and disappear
You're
at the
there
same
popping
time.
around.
Yeah.
I'm ready
huge.
to be thrown.
It's a bit like that when Sex Machine's like running up and down the bar, like fighting them, isn't it? He's kind of like jumping and whipping and
He's
yeah,
great. The whip is brilliant. Love that
yeah.
Yeah, he's
bit.
got all his weapons. He does the penis gun at one of them at some point as well.
Well, I guess we didn't mention that obviously Salma Hayek's character attacks and kills Richie. Pretty much, that's what happens before
Yeah.
the fight.
Of
Drains
course.
him, bites his neck, and he dies. And he's going. What does he say when he's dying? He just goes, "Oh, what a fucking bitch! Oh, fucking bitch!
Last bit of misogyny just
Yeah,
before he
misogynist.
passes away.
Gotta get this
Time,
misogyny in
yeah.
there."
Just misogynist.
Imagine if George Clooney had gone. Is it important that she's a woman?
Can you imagine anything else more poignant for your last words, Richie?
Yeah.
Have a
I love you, dear brother. Not
yeah. What a fucking bitch.
There's a
Um,
great kill in that whole montage in the battle as well. Is there's one that's got a fan over her face and she takes it away. She's got a vampire face and then she uses the fan
to
to cut
slice
the guy's
someone's
head off.
neck. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's
Excellent.
good.
Excellent.
It's good. So yeah, this seems pretty great. It establishes all of our heroes and Sex Machine as well. When does Sex Machine get bitten? It's not quite yet. Oh yeah,
Later,
so
like
we do the 4-on-4 as well, which is pretty good.
Oh, because he gets the heart out of the big guy as well. That's a great
Yeah,
moment.
that is
oh,
good.
yeah.
And
Horrible. Stabs
He
it with a
full on
pencil.
Kanos him, doesn't he? Because he's like, oh, hang on. Because his heart's still going, then that's when he dies.
Yeah, horrible.
And I
Like
love that. Sorry, go on.
I was gonna say, horrible blackened heart as well, and it looks
Yeah,
disgusting.
Yeah.
it's grim. But then he's got the pencil, and then they go into that 4-on-4, and he doesn't bother getting a different weapon. He sticks with the pencil.
Yeah.
He's just like, yeah, that's okay.
Pencil, why not?
Done the
Oh, and
trick.
Kate melts a guy with a crucifix behind the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did she
That
like
keeps
stick it in
Marin
his
as
mouth
well,
or
yeah.
something?
Yeah. And he has a full. That's when you see first full melt.
Yeah, it's like a stop
Yeah.
motion sort of melt, isn't it?
It's great.
Obviously, when Sex Machine kills Danny Trejo's character as well, just just like stabs him through the heart on the pool table, and then as he melts away, it pops all the balls. It's good. It's so like it's so silly, but it's great, isn't it? Those cool little set pieces. Does he don't use the cock gun then, does he? Never does.
No, he does.
Yeah, he
He does.
does.
I think on the first one. Yeah.
Oh, he does.
Yeah, the first one is like obviously, yeah, it probably doesn't kill a vampire forever, but it just blows them away for a
blows them
little
away
bit.
for a second. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Danny Trejo's fight with Sex Machine is like it's very built up. Like they spot each other from far away, and he's like, "Right, I'm fucking getting you." And then like, he pops the waistcoat just to reveal the tats,
Yeah.
And
And
then he
then
like goes on the pool table for him to then get off it. I'm over here now.
yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah.
choreography involved to get the geography right for the scene, and then to
Choose
make sure it's
like
not so
choose your
full.
fight and then choose a stage.
Yeah.
And then it's all sort of one and done. Isn't it? Whip down, stake,
Stabbed, yeah.
and
Wow.
then yeah, he wins this game of pool.
So all of the like bats start attacking, don't they? But they manage to close the door and
Yeah. Oh,
is that what happened?
they get. Yeah, I feel like the marketing of this film and even the posters, Salma Hayek is so like heavily featured.
Oh, Salma Hayek,
She's
isn't
just
it?
one of them who they get in this scene,
Yeah. Oh
right?
wait,
She's
so
like,
she gets her like
Oh, she has the speech.
she delivers her speech to George Clooney when he's down when he's down. She's got her foot on him and she says, "I'm going to turn you, but I'm going to keep you alive. I'm going to feed you the blood of stray dogs, and you will on my command you will lick the dog shit from my boot." Well, don't stand any dog shit then.
yes,
Ugh.
that's the thing that
Disgusting.
always gets with vampires. I think is this film that made me think about it for so long. Right, if you're horrible to me and I don't like you, if you turn me into a vampire, can't I just be a vampire that's still your enemy? Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
still hate you.
No,
Well,
I think
and they got that in Sinners. They try to wrestle with the hive mind aspect of it,
Yeah,
which they get away with. But here it's not really clear. Like, is there a hierarchy within the vampires? Because it feels like when then Fred Williamson turns, um, he sort of suddenly becomes king of the vampires, doesn't he?
yeah. But
yeah.
again, I feel like
Guiding,
they
guiding
managed to
bat
dispatch.
traffic.
Yeah. I think they dispatch him quite simply as well. Like I don't think like you think, oh my
Oh no,
God.
he gets the shotgun through the middle,
Yeah,
doesn't
that's right. He does.
he? Just
That is
through him.
cool. That is a good
Also,
moment as well.
he's his whole Fred Williams was great. He's got like a proper Groucho Marx mustache
Yeah.
on as well
Yeah.
throughout, which I'm like, I don't know where this fits in,
And
but it's great.
he is built like a British shithouse as well. I think
He's
I think
brilliant.
Sex Machine even says that at one point.
Yeah, there's a weird flirty banter between them, isn't there?
Oh yeah. It but I know Tom Savini's in lots of stuff, but it really does make me think he's really great. And I know it's not like the thing he's famous for essentially. Like obviously he's made films and his effects and everything, but I don't know, whenever he pops up in anything, I always think he's great. Like he was in Terrifier 3, wouldn't he? He popped up randomly as a little
Really?
was he yeah, he was just like someone he interviewed, like a witness or something like that. And like, every time he pops up,
Well,
I'm
Man
thinking, oh,
3.
yeah.
when he pops up in Zack and Miri Make a Porno, that was the one that really
Oh my God, yeah.
blindsided me. I was like, why is Tom
Yeah.
Savini?
It is weird. Like, as a horror fan, like seeing someone like Tom Savini just pop up in something like that is always
Out of context, yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, they defeat Wave 1, and then they go round spiking the remaining vampires that are just there, do some cleanup, which is
I think
good.
we forgot to say that obviously the way Salma Hayek dies is that Seth shoots like a chandelier which falls down and impales her. She kind of dies and it seems like she's getting kind of pleasure from it. She seems kind of like, oh, finally, I'm dead.
I also never realised that chandelier was like a way to dispatch a vampire. Like, I
Yeah.
knew steaks, garlic,
They've made it
all
out of steaks, haven't they?
yeah.
They've gone, let's put the chandelier up. Have you made that chandelier out of steaks and we're all vampires? Yeah, but it's up there, isn't it? It's fine up there. Someone could shoot it down, though. It's only being held by one piece of rope. Nah, never.
Everything on the ceiling is deadly to vampires. I see you've got like that, the disco ball.
Oh, yeah.
Is that a wreath of garlic over there?
Well, it looks nice, doesn't it? Just trying to make it look a bit more homely in this place. It
I'm
looks
trying to
like
make it so people come in and go, oh, ain't gonna be any vampires in here. Look at this disco ball, steak chandelier.
That's the last thing I'm going to expect. Completely off guard. So yeah, they defeat Wave 1, and that is when loads of vampires in bat form assemble outside. And they manage to
Put
like
the old
lock
bat
the
signal
doors.
up outside, haven't they? They were like, right,
Yeah,
let's get in there.
yeah. But Sex
There's a
Machine,
bit as well. They're like it does a cut in between the montage where Jacob is seen just walking away from having plugged a hole full of body parts to prevent the bats getting in. And I'm like, that's a weird choice for that.
oh really? Loads of broken
He's
chairs and
walking
stuff.
away from a hole,
Yeah,
and it's just like got like legs and arms coming out of the hole.
yeah.
Would tempt them in, if anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would. So yeah, obviously, when does? Oh yeah, so they're all going around dispatching, like killing all of the bikers and people who've been turned, like stabbing them.
Who are
Obviously, there's a
reanimating,
bit
yeah.
where Kate like hesitates, and I think this is around the part when Tom Savini gets bitten and he gets like
That's right. Yeah,
a
because he's
little
looking at
nibble,
her, and then yeah,
but nobody notices. But obviously,
Yeah,
it's all he can think about. So even while Frost is giving his kind of monologue, talking about how absolutely nails he is, because he just got rid of a whole squad of the Viet Cong back in the day, and he's going through it. But then pretty much quickly, Tom Savini starts turning. First of all, teeth, and then his hands just become like this
yeah.
horrible, like horrible big old caricature hands,
Oh,
Mr.
essentially
Tickle
like the dog him.
hands. Um, yeah, and then obviously the bit where we see Frost still talking about the particulars of the Viet Cong. Tom Savini's hands just creep up over the shoulders, and then he bites him. Um,
it's such a classic shot. Like I feel like they've stolen that from some other vampire film, but I don't know what.
yeah,
But
it feels like a classic shot, doesn't it? Yeah. Um, I just imagine everyone else's faces when that happens as well. They're listening. Oh yeah, yeah, and they go, "Oh no!"
where'd Jake
bloody,
come from?
bloody hell, sex machine. So yeah, they have a little fight as well. Oh no, wait. So what happens? Obviously, because Frost got bitten, he's pretty much immediately turning as well. So what
We've
happens
already
is,
got rid of George Clooney's already had to kill his brother, hasn't he? Because he's gone,
oh my
and he
God, yeah,
hesitates
we
for
didn't
like a
mention that.
second.
So obviously Richie comes back as we mentioned.
Oh yeah,
Sex Machine goes to dispatch him. Seth's like, if you do that, I'll kill you. And like, but we got him. He's like, right, hold him down. And then yeah, he just dispatches him. And as we mentioned, Quentin Tarantino, Richie comes back as Ant McPartlin, vampire, with the biggest fake head. I do like that shot of what Seth can see, where Seth can like still see him, like
well, I
obviously.
wonder whether he switches and switches back,
Oh, you
but then
think he
he's
switches to
like,
try and like convince
yeah,
him?
I don't know.
Yeah, still a yeah, yeah, exactly. Again, I think this is a cool moment, but I think they dispatch him quite easily. He could have easily been like a big bad who they struggled to continue. Do you know what I mean? He could have easily like gone after Kate or something, because
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he had to make a decision between like finally cutting the tar. Oh, my brother is a wrong, and isn't he? I better get rid of him.
yeah, yeah, that could have been cool. I mean, it's still pretty cool. Um, but yeah, at this point, Frost, like when Frost and Sex Machine are turning, Frost throws Sex Machine through the door, and then that is when all the bats come in. And this is a horrible shot. By horrible, I mean like this always used to scare me a bit. That shot of Frost completely transformed, all the bats flying in, and him like pointing the bats towards everybody as they're trying to run away, because they all run to like a storeroom in the back, don't they?
Yeah,
Is
just
it
full
so?
of like vampire fighting gear.
Yeah.
Yeah, luckily. But then, so in between all of that as well, Jacob gets bitten, doesn't he? He gets bitten on the arm.
Is it
Yeah.
in the sex machine
Yeah.
turning
I
bit,
think
Oh,
it's
right?
sex machine bites him, does he? Yeah,
yeah.
I'm not sure if it's, but it's
I'm
in that
pretty
little
sure he does. He bites him on the arm, doesn't he? Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah, he bites
fracas.
him on the arm and then slings him off behind the bar, and that is because Seth, Kate, and Scott run. They run to the storeroom. They're like, Jacob's dead, but Jacob realizes because Scott said earlier, "Well, there's crosses everywhere. We can make crosses out of anything." And Jacob
See that?
uses a baseball bat and a shotgun. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah,
Um, and this is where I love the sound design in this moment because we hear all the bats flying around, and then it slowly turns from bats to just like generic horrible vampire noises.
the sound design throughout is so good. Like even from the very quiet moments in the opening scene, and then like it is so fucking loud when shit
Yeah,
hits the fan. Shit really hits the fan.
yeah.
It gets so
It is one of
loud. So
those where you have to adjust the volume after a while, isn't it? Where you just go off. I was listening to the dialogue and having a lovely time, and now I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Everyone's shouting. It's like the
I
adverts
got
have come on
I
when you're
got
watching it
told
on
off
ITV.
once. I got told off once by my housemates as well because I was watching this downstairs when everybody gone to bed on a school night.
Oh wow.
And they were like, "Can you turn that shit down?" I was like, "Oh, yeah, I
It was
guess it
the
is quite."
it was the pussy
Yeah,
speech
it was
at the
probably
start.
that. Oh, God. Yeah, yeah. They were like, what is he watching?"
Are you all right down there? Yeah,
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 what are
I'm
you
a hell
up
of a
to?
time. Uh
We've not mentioned the band either. How the
oh
band
yeah, of course.
turn into like they're just playing instruments. I figured out. So the guitar he's got, that's a
Yeah.
torso, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's then got a head coming out of its own arse, and then it's got a leg coming out of the
Oh
neck,
wow.
and he's playing the leg, and then there's a saxophonist who's playing somebody's spinal cord that inexplicably has a head on the end of
Nice,
it.
nice.
And then they seem to run out of ideas with the drummer because he's just got a normal drum kit, but instead of using drumsticks, he's just hitting skulls.
They could have done so much with that, but they've just gone, yeah, drummer's just gonna have a normal drum kit. He's gonna be
I
fine.
love how the band just escaped though, because the band Clearly Vampires had a second set of vampire instruments round the back to pull out when they had transformed,
Yeah.
and then they go, "I'm just going to kill that band." They go, "Fuck you and good night," and disappear.
Well, they just
They
explode.
just explode.
They literally just explode, don't they? Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
fuck this, we're out.
See you later.
There should have been the commitment for them to be in all. They should have had them in all of the other films
Oh yeah,
as well.
it's
That
good though because
band.
Are they
when
not?
Tom Savini says, "Let's kill this fucking band." Like they just realize. But yeah, it's good for what they do. So yeah, going back to Jacob, he's got the shotgun, and yeah, this is a scene that used to scare me. That reveal of seeing just how many vampires there are. Obviously, some of them might be statues, some of them might be in leotards, but I think it's still a very effective shot, isn't it? Just seeing
Yeah.
the scale of what's happened.
I was
Like,
trying to suss this round watching it whether actually it's an effect, like they've comped it, like,
yeah,
and so it's maybe one of the few effects. Well, there's a few effect shots in it, but one of those that, because they've only got so many like suits and whatever, they've had to actually replicate.
yeah. I think
Yeah,
it's
so
just
I'm
a quick
trying to
shot, and you kind of just look at a few of them, and again, even like with Jacob when he's moving along, and is he kind of reciting a prayer, or is he?
so yeah.
Yeah, but he just shoots a few of them, get too close. I like that. Even the shot of him backing into that little corridor and them all coming in is scary. I feel like that's like,
Yeah.
oh Jesus.
Well, apparently
And the
that
others
was
are like,
supposed to be the Ezekiel speech from Pulp Fiction. That
Yeah.
passage was supposed to be what he's reading as he's doing that.
Oh wow.
And then
Okay.
because it was sort of, the script wasn't getting made,
Yeah.
Tarantino started just cherry picking bits and
Yeah.
putting
Of
them in other
course.
script. And so
oh,
then it got recycled into Pulp Fiction. So he had
Yeah.
to do, I think he's doing the Lord's Prayer or something.
That's
the
awesome.
classics, also royalty free.
Classics. Yeah.
Yeah, no one's claiming, God's not claiming his copyright. It's
Yeah.
So
Excuse me.
Jacob manages to make it to the storeroom. Let me in. You know, no one goes, "Are you a vampire?" They just go, "Get yourself in here." And
Yeah.
this is where they're going to make their last stand. So
Checks
Jacob's
his
like,
watch and
I
goes,
know, I've
I've
been.
probably got I've got 20 minutes tops before
I
I'm a
know the same
vampire.
bite. Sex Machine had the same bite, and he immediately turned. But I reckon I got about an hour because I'm a holy man, and
Yeah.
my blood cells will fight it off a bit.
I'm a
Better.
vampirologist. I know.
So what have they got in terms of the weapons? There's like a stake mounted on a pneumatic drill, which is what Seth gets.
What is that? Like, what is the point of that one? Sorry, but
It's
like, what
too
is the point of
slow,
that one?
but that's yeah. There's no way you'd start using that, and you're exposed to everyone else around you.
Yeah, just get a
What you've
chainsaw. Chainsaw would be way more effective.
what you've done is you've made a steak really heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just doing the same thing, which you could just do with
Yeah,
your
it's-
arms.
Because you only have to get a vampire once. Like, oh no, that vampire's is a concrete one. I'm gonna have to get through his outer shell.
But then when he does shove it in a vampire, it is like, Leatherface, straight, just like he's not doing much else. Like,
No.
we feel like he
Um,
should
I
have
think
done
Scott's got the best one. He's got the super soaker,
Yeah.
and obviously Jacob
Yeah.
blesses the water. So, like
I
that.
feel like Scott is the most underrated character in this film.
Definitely.
Like, he's wearing an Assault on Precinct 13 shirt.
He is, yeah. He is, yeah.
he then has the best weapon. He's the only one who stands up in situations of like real moral crisis. He's like, actually, that's not on.
Yeah.
And like
No,
he
it's
just
good.
gets sold down the river the whole way, and then he gets fucking eaten by his dad.
Yeah. Gets eaten by his dad.
He gets
Basically, the
worst
end.
death out of everyone.
It's because he says, "Don't hesitate, don't hesitate, bitch." He just says to Scott and Kate, "Promise to kill me when I change." And they're like, "You got to
And
do
then he
it."
goes, right, if you don't, I'm going to shoot myself in the head right now. 5, 4, okay, fine, I'll kill you. Right.
And he gives Scott from free.
Because
Yeah.
you've got even
Scott.
less time now. I'm going to be a vampire in 18 minutes now. So
So Jacob
gonna count to
continues
two.
with the shotgun and the it works, doesn't it?
He found a good
Um,
weapon, yeah.
Kate gets all of a crossbow. Yeah, and essentially they just go out into the
He
group of
does
vampires.
his line for the third time, doesn't he? Where he's like, "Okay, vampire hunters, let's go.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
no,
yeah.
okay, vampire killers, let's go killing
Kill some
vampires, whatever.
vampire.
And he's like, repeats that line throughout, but with different
Yeah,
like words in between.
Yeah.
Okay, ramblers, let's go rambling, or whatever it is.
yeah, yeah. That's good.
They go out there and they have a big battle against not so many descript vampires as we had the last time. These are all the Roald Dahl's witches ones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And again, they all wait for their time to attack. Um,
yeah.
the fun
Assassin's
was
Creed original style, just countering them.
it's
Every
a great
single
scene
one.
though, obviously, like with smashing the water balloon on one of their faces, so they end up like in half. There's lots
That's
of
Jacob,
Kate.
isn't it, when he turns?
Yeah,
Do we get there's blessed water in Super Soakers in Lost Boys before this, right?
yeah. I feel like it's in something before. Is it Lost Boys though?
Yeah, they have a bath full of holy
Oh,
water
okay.
that they then that they shove a vampire into
Jesus.
and
Nice.
waterboard with it.
Yeah.
We should do the Lost Boys one day. I don't believe we haven't done
Yeah, I
that
don't
either.
think we've done that either. There's a lot of iconic films we've not done, isn't there? Um,
Yeah.
obviously we get a bit of Tom Savini gets his head off by
What?
Seth. Seth uses the whip against him, doesn't he?
Yeah. And
Takes
he
his head off
manages to pull his head off because they're gooey, as
because they're
established.
gooey and soft. But he mutates
They're
into a
made
large.
entirely of flubber.
Play-Doh.
Yeah, they're all it's bloody morph. They're all like morph people
He
made of
turns into.
blancmange.
He just turns into like a horrible rat man, doesn't he? Like,
Even like, I feel like it's even more of a witches reference again, because doesn't somebody
yeah,
turn into a rat monster in the witches?
that's
Yeah,
true. That's
they
true.
turn
Yeah.
they turn the little glasses boy into rats.
It was
They all
early. It
get
was earlier
ratted
in
at the
this
end.
film, wasn't it? As well, The Witches, because it came up in a quiz, didn't it, Andy? The Witches.
Yeah, The Witches is it's reasonably old. It's like late 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a
Um.
magic box. I'll check.
So it
But
manages.
I
Sorry, go
love
on.
when he does end up fighting the giant rat,
Yeah.
and then he ends up underneath him, and then he pushes his head up. So he uses his pumpy stake thing
Yeah.
for just to lift his head up so that Juliette Lewis can shoot him with a crossbow. And then when he kicks him, he goes flying.
He just goes absolutely
He flies
flying.
halfway across the bar.
He's weak to
He really
kicks.
charged up that kick.
Yeah.
Proper
Witches
Hadouken.
was 1990.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Quite late. I didn't realise.
So yeah, obviously, the moment where Jacob just turns into a vampire, all the vampires like back off from him, don't they? Oh, so he does the thing with Frost initially, where he puts a shotgun through his torso, and then uses him to like pump
He's
the
blowing them all
shotgun and
away.
kill various ones. But then there's a moment where the vampires like hesitate, isn't there? The vampires like back away.
His nose has just gone crinkly enough. And
And to be fair, him turning around is pretty scary. I feel like the way he's kind of
Grim,
he's like a bit of a horrible little cheeky one, isn't he? He turns into a
He
horrible little
doesn't, he
cheeky
doesn't look
vampire.
too bad in
No,
comparison to some of the others, and they're proper,
yeah.
proper
And he
smug
goes
nose.
straight for his son, and his son obviously hesitates to kill him, even though he told him bloody twice, "Make sure you kill me." Jacob bites him. Scott manages
all
to
the
kill
others are
him.
tearing him apart.
Doesn't he like put a water balloon in his face or something? He does,
Yeah.
doesn't he? That's when he's
Yeah,
ended
he
up half
gets-
ahead.
He gets halved.
But then
Great.
Poor old Scott gets overwhelmed by the vampires. They're all having a nibble on all of his appendages, and he
This
begs
was the
for
one that
death.
everyone quoted
That's
for
fine.
me. Like my friend, anytime anyone was like hanging or just they'd like
Kill me.
kill me, Kate, kill.
He still takes a
Just
while.
Mercy killing's big in Tamworth. We do it all the time.
Well, and I feel like his death as well is probably like shaking. Like it's the worst death, I feel.
Yeah, he's
Like,
in agony.
and also I feel really bad because that actor's never done anything else really. Like he
No.
did a few bits and bobs around that time, but he never went on to anything. I feel like he just really got nobody ever gives Scott enough love.
No.
And he's a great
No.
character.
Also, Kate
Oh,
is
even
literally
I would
loses their
hesitate
dad.
slightly. Just kill me, Kate, but maybe not like with something that's going to kill me more instantly than the crossbow you're pointing at.
Yeah,
But then he and everyone he explodes.
Yeah.
He's not even dead yet, and he explodes.
there was a red barrel just behind them, like in a video game, where it just exploded. Poor Kate though loses her dad and her brother like in mere seconds. Yeah, pretty horrific.
Gets
So
over it far.
the vampires surround Kate and Seth. I think at this point Kate says something like, "Shall I save a bullet for each of us?"
And he goes, nah.
But at this point, there are little beams of the morning light entering through bullet holes in the building, and they realize that the vampires are kind of like backing away or like ducking underneath them. Or
Yeah, shoot strategic holes. Yeah, they're
shoot
Thomas
straight
Crown affair in right
Yeah.
towards them. They're like, entrapment. Sorry, not the Thomas Crown affair.
entrapment.
I was
Yeah.
thinking that as well.
Yeah.
They're trying to entrapment towards them, but none of the vampires are Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yeah, none of them are as bendy as Catherine Zeta-Jones. They're wearing
No.
too much makeup, too much
Yeah.
prosthetics.
And then they eventually shoot
You would
enough
think that
holes
if you're a
in the building.
vampire, like you would be like, "Can I just tank getting a little bit of a burn on the hand to get you?" No.
Yeah. You would no,
They're
'cause
real.
you would
These
explode.
vampires. Yeah. I guess they are quite explosive. They're also just real cowards, I feel. Or couldn't they just turn into a bat? Because they were just a bat. They were bats. You just batify and then just fly around. It's easier if you're smaller, isn't it? And got wings.
And again, if you're a vampire at this point, if you're really going to be sensible, you're like, I should be getting off because this place is a
Yeah.
place is a.
Well,
the
we've
sun's
learned in Nosferatu, like it literally doesn't matter if they've got a target, they'll do anything.
They've got the horn.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the sun's coming in the
vampires
window.
no sense of time.
Sun's coming in the window. Oh, whoa, I'm nearly there.
I've been in situations. I've been in situations before where you've ended up staying.
George Clooney is?
Where you've been saying, you've been saying too late for something. You've got to get off. You've got to hurry up and go, and you end up. But I am not a creature where if it's the wrong time of day, I will die.
Yeah.
I've been there thinking, "Oh, it has gone R5, but I've just got to finish this email." It's not like the sun's going to go down at 6. I'm going to burst into flames.
So they shoot some more strategic holes, and then eventually it rebounds the light around with the disco ball.
It's
and
a
obviously-
disco ball,
and they all
which-
explode, but not immediately. Just at different points in the room, in different poses.
Yeah. They got the statues back out.
Yeah.
Rigged them full of pyrotechnics.
And they managed to get out, but it like explodes behind them, doesn't it? Like the actual place.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole place burst into
because
flames.
Carlos and his crew turn up and they're like banging on the door and they're like, "Quick, smash the door open, please."
Oh, that's when them smashing the door open is enough light to set the disco ball off.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, and then when they get out there,
all right. He's actually Carlos is actually pretty safe for presuming he's some sort of like cartel boss.
yeah,
He's actually a really reasonable guy.
and he does
But
go.
also
"We just
a little bit
chose
of a
this-
flake. He's like, "Oh, I just drove past it. It looked cool."
I just chose this place on a whim that we should meet there. Oh, great! So obviously Seth chastises him. He negotiates. He does a bit of negotiating now. Smaller tribute for admission to El Rey. He gets a car as well. Kate even says, "Do you fancy some company?" And I do quite like the fact that he just goes, "Nah, where I'm going."
What's his line? He was like, "I'm not I know I'm a bastard, but I'm not a fucking bastard."
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, have a slither of money from.
Yeah, have a few bundles, but they're only $1. This is. It looks like a lot. It's not much. Not gonna get you far.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, you've lost your dad and your brother, and your life is ruined because you've seen vampires. So hang on, let me just work that out.
But you've got an RV now.
I carry the one and
Oh, you can drive. Don't establish that.
Yeah, look at-
$200.
We see her driving off, don't we? Yeah, it's lucky. And because when that shot like pans back and we see the RV driving off, and then we see behind the titty twister there is like a massive,
the lost
partially
city
buried
of Chichen Easter, the
Yeah.
entire.
Aztec temple with just like abandoned trucks from
Yeah,
years
loads of
and years.
trucks pushed down the cliff.
Yeah, we never think of the admin when it comes to this. Like, there's going to be a bit after they've all had a feast. They have to go out there the next night and just push all the bloody trucks over.
Yeah, we're closed for tonight. Actually, we've had our fill. We've got to deal with these
Yeah.
trucks.
I just want to come in and have a beer. No, we can't.
Nah, not tonight.
Sorry. So that's it.
Also,
That's the
like
end.
your dark queen, like is having to still have like a job putting on entertainment. She's not just in a management position.
Yeah, she loves it. She loves the attention. Okay,
I've
Go
got a question before we. What do you think? What do you think? Why do you think that they've cast Cheech in 3 roles? I've got a theory.
I'm
I
probably
reckon
going to
they
like
just think he's
question about
ace.
the Aztec temple or something. Be like, how come he's in 3 roles?
Now, why has he got 3 roles? Just because he's that good?
Yeah, they just love him.
I don't know, really. Maybe it's like maybe they owed him. They're like, we owe you 3 roles, but rather than going 3 roles in different films, We're actually just going to give you 3 roles
Can I
in
be
this
in Pulp
film.
Fiction and Kill Bill as well? No, you can be in
No,
Dust
Can
Till
I?
Dawn thrice.
Can I have a good look at Juliette Lewis on the toilet? Yeah.
Yeah,
You can.
we can do that. Yeah.
I reckon
Yeah.
it's just because it's a bit. I don't know. It's just a bit mad, isn't
I
it?
think there's a connection between the 3 roles
Okay.
because first border guard,
Yeah.
right? So he's so well border guard. Then he's on the threshold of the club,
Yeah.
and then he's
Yeah.
Carlos, who's their way into El Rey. So every stage he's a different gatekeeper. So he's the
Okay.
gatekeeper for the
Oh,
border,
yeah.
he's the gatekeeper for the bar, and then he's the gatekeeper for their sanctuary
I
in
like
El
that.
Rey.
And
That's
he's
a bit.
also a man synonymous, obviously, with weed culture, which many right-wing grifters might describe as a gateway drug to.
There we go.
That's it. That's it.
That's it. We've got it.
Yeah.
We've answered the question in the best way possible. There we go. So that's the end of From Dusk Till Dawn. Before we rate the film, should we play a little bit of name game, Andy? You up for that?
I've got a lovely bit of my notepad ready to go for that.
Okay. Do you know this where it's Mikel? Should we explain it to you?
I've listened to the podcast.
Oh,
I
you
think
have?
It's
so
prepared.
Yeah, it's
rhyming.
nothing too complicated
Yeah.
about it, is there?
It's like our good friends at the asylum were looking to con some grannies that were being sent out to Blockbuster Video to get you Dust Till Dawn. What might they rent instead?
Yeah. Do you want a synopsis, Andy?
Yes, please, Ben.
2 criminals and their hostages unknowingly seek refuge in a truck stop populated by vampires.
Okay, so in this variant of the film, two brothers on the run find themselves in a weird sort of existential bar where they go to experience their interests growing up through adolescence from the beginning with the hard biscuits that they enjoyed while they were teething, right through to hardcore sex videos as they've matured, obviously.
From
So-
Rusk till Porn.
From
Oh,
Rusk till
God.
porn, indeed.
I was waiting to see if Mikel was like, I wonder if he's going to get this. He's got it.
He's a
Straight
pro.
off the strap. From Rusk till Porn. That's horrible. Like a horrible. Remember this horrible soft biscuit? Yeah, I do. Well, now you're addicted to porn instead. Oh, Jesus. Talking of right wing grifters. 2 criminals and their hostages unknowingly seek temporary refuge in the SpaceX headquarters, which are headed up by one half of famous comedy duo French and Saunders.
From Dusk till dawn.
Brackets French.
Yeah. Dusk
I
till
did,
dawn.
I'm
brackets
pretty
French.
sure I did Dawn French last week as well because we talked about
Which
Until Dawn.
It came out last week.
Yeah, I thought I'd be consistent.
This time, in this film, everybody, 2 brothers on the run from the law find their way to a rather eclectic film festival just over the Mexican border. They're beginning the night with a Justin Long film in which he is turned into a walrus and are going to finish with a 90s Todd McFarlane superhero number featuring Johnny Legs himself, John Leguizamo.
You've taken 2 of mine out of the running with that one clue. From Tusk till Spawn.
From Dusk till Spawn. Very good.
Taking 2 of mine out of the running. That's really rude.
You got to do doubles.
Okay, so 2 criminals, played by Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, and their hostages and only seek refuge in a truck stop populated by vampires.
So it is.
I've only done one of the words, by the way.
Oh, I can exit from
Ah,
Dusk
right,
till
okay.
Shaun.
From Dusk
Yeah.
Till
Dead.
Shaun is correct. I was thinking about some sort of cornetto-based clue. Couldn't quite get there, though. Sorry.
Okay. In this film, when they first go into the bar, 2 brothers on the run from the law, smashing the tequila glasses on the table too hard, break them. And having had not wanting to spend their ill-gotten gains, they just have to offer to do chores around the bar to pay off this tab. And Selma Hayek really puts them through the ringer. She goes, right, I want all these surfaces spotless with the Mr. Sheen. And after you've done that, you can go and clipper that garden down. What's that?
Well, the second bit's lawn
Yeah.
from
Rust.
So you've got to get the Mr. Sheen out. I don't want any
from
detritus.
Dusk Till Lawn.
From Dust till
The
you
Mr.
go.
Sheen. Oh my god. Oh my god. I've not got ready. You've taken any of my good ones out of the running. I'll go for this one then. Two criminals and their hostages unknowingly seek temporary refuge in a truck stop populated by vampires. All night, I'll be absolutely hanging, as are the rest of the characters. So tired. Only one word
Oh,
again.
anyway, is it from dusk till yawn?
From dusk till yawn. There we go. I do keep thinking that. I'm like, bloody hell, all night I'll be hanging. I'll be like, can I just go and have a kip in the RV while you're all waiting here? No.
Yeah,
They got it there.
stayed in there. I'll have one more for you here, Ben. So, in this one, two brothers on the run from the law find themselves in a rural community, where to negotiate for their safe passage to El Rey, they need to separate the wheat from the chaff to make sure they've got the good bits of the crops for cereal production separated from the bit that will actually, just be straw for the cows. The next bit, taking off the waste products away from that for that cereal crop.
I love it when you throw agricultural references to this game.
Arable farming.
Oh, I don't know actually.
Dusk.
That's right, from husk. So what you take if you get rid of the husk,
Corn.
what you got left?
Corn.
From husk till corn.
Yes.
Can I give you one?
Oh
Guys?
yes, you
please.
can. Absolutely.
Yeah, all right. Okay, two very unlikely brothers, an elephant and a rhino, cross the Mexican border to wind up in a supernatural bar.
Is it from tusk till horn? Two
Exactly,
things that those animals have.
From tusk till horn. I'd watch that. I would watch that.
Like Zootopia, but with directed by Quentin
Yeah.
Tarantino.
Hell yeah.
I mean,
I'm all over
I've
it.
got one more, but I would say the rhyme on the first word is sketchy at best.
Oh, that's not like you. That's not like you at all.
So in this one, two brothers on the run from the law find themselves in an incredibly rough bar that has board games, and rather unsuitably, they sit down for a game of chess. But unfortunately, in this enchanted and evil place, the castles turn into the shittest and weakest pieces, transform over time.
The last one's pawn
Yeah.
from.
And what if you are very, very, really labouring that what other chess piece could you get into it? The castles, they turn into them. They've got another name if you're a chessman.
Wait, what are the castles called?
Apart from
I remember
castles.
what else you call castles.
From rooks till pawn to pawn.
From rook, right?
Rook
From
till
rooks
pawn.
till pawn.
Very good.
You were in the Titty Twister playing chess in the corner, weren't you?
Yeah, that's it. The whole time.
The whole time. Oh, bloody hell. Kicks the door in the morning. Flipping
It's
hell.
noisy, dude.
Any more? Any more for any more? Are we done?
Right, I got one more.
Hell yeah.
So two brothers going down to Mexico. They get into this bar and there's a funny smell about the place, and unfortunately they go on to discover that actually the shellfish is out of date.
It's from musk till prawn.
Yeah.
Oh, you threw a little rolled the R in there, didn't you?
That's sound like Vickers.
You can't say prawn any other way.
Yeah, you have to always say prawns.
Okay. Well, that was fun. We got to rate the film A to F. Pluses and minuses are allowed. Rate good or rate bad. Where would you stand on this one, Mikel?
I mean, it's a B movie through and through, so it's got to be a B plus plus plus. I don't feel like it quite gets into that transcendental territory that really maybe moves you emotionally beyond the sheer joy and giggles of it. But what it's doing, it does at a very high level. And I think, I don't know, for me personally, it goes down with a film, and I'm not comparing these directly, just like as a
Thank
product
God,
of that time.
Don't do that.
No, I was going to say, in the same way as, like, say, The Thing or Jurassic Park were absolutely at the peak of what people were able to do with practical effects and the combination of digital effects. I mean, not so much in this film, the digital effects are a bit janky, but you know, like it is so well done, and no one is ever going to give that amount of money out again, ever. to make a film like this. So it just like for me it is, yeah, it's just as much as it's very problematic, I feel like all those characters get their comeuppance, don't they? So you can
Yeah.
kind of justify it. And yeah, it's just like the effects work and the timing and the dialogue and the performances are brilliant. I hate to say, even Quentin Tarantino acts his fucking socks off in
Yeah,
this
Yeah.
movie.
definitely. I think that's fair. I think I'm kind of thinking A, but like A minus. And the main reason for that is because I appreciate it for what it is, but I've got like a connection to it as being one of those films that was a bit of a gateway, talking to Cheech, a bit of a gateway horror for me. You know, it was one of those films that really established like a lot of these kind of like practical effects and this combination of, I guess, like a siege movie as well. Really established like how much I like siege movies as well. Talking obviously the Assault on Precinct 13 T-shirt as well. Um, so yeah, I think A minus just because I have that connection to it. Whereas always one of those films when it's on, I'll always watch it, and I feel like no matter how many times I've seen it, I still always have. It's always kind of up there with a really enjoyable movie going experience. So I'll go for an A minus for that. It's not perfect. Andy?
Like, I think that's one of those things. I think, and I'm guilty of this. I think I'll look at, oh, can I give something, that higher rating because that would imply it couldn't be any better. And I think you can mark things for how much you enjoyed them.
Yeah,
That's absolutely fine. I don't perhaps have the same history of this with as the two of you did. I saw it once on video when it was around that time, and I was prime age for it. But it was one that kind of slipped from my attention for a number of years.
Mm.
I'm glad we had the reason to come back and watch it because it reminded me of all the fun things about it. And as Mikel, you said, there are obviously things that have aged not so well. But I think it's still a really, really enjoyable film, and I think you nailed it that the unpleasantness about those characters. There's lots of the majority of them get their comeuppance or
yeah,
maybe come away a little better for it. And I think also it's a good story of like how also your heroes in films don't always have to be the cleanest, best people. Sometimes you don't have any good people with you, and it's just the bad people that might be with you
Mm.
that help you get through a horrible
mm,
bar full of vampires. I had a lot of fun watching it. I had a lot of fun discussing it. So I'm gonna go for a very, very enjoyable B plus from me as well. Like it's just good, uncomplicated. So we joked about it as we went through, but like so inspirational for lots of things that came afterwards. And as you say as
yeah.
well, the the level of effect and the level of visual interest they were able to achieve. Um, Certainly not achievable today in Hollywood-based filmmaking.
It's like, like
Godzilla
yeah,
minus one was made for a lot less money than this
yeah.
and looks fabulous. But for the way that films have been and are still made, you don't get a film that looks this good even now for this kind of money.
Mm.
And I don't think we'd take as many sort of risks in terms of the storytelling, even like, the fact that the characters are really complex bastards and,
Yeah.
like, yeah, unfortunately, at $90 million, Sinners can't do that.
Mm.
Like, yes, the two brothers are supposed to be not good people, they're criminals, they're dangerous, but they're still, in the film world, they're still completely morally pure in a
Yeah, they're
way.
morally centered, right? Oh,
Yeah,
we've stolen
exactly.
from people, but people that are criminals.
Exactly.
And yeah, we're not, and we're potentially not the best guys, but our enemies are racist and horrible, so they're
Mm.
worse. Like this is you are right. Like I think this film definitely should get credit for having big swings that one of your, that lots of your main characters, I mean, even George Clooney's character, he's not a good guy. He has killed people. He is a thief. He's not a Robin Hood character. He's not giving that money for his sister's eye operation. Is like he's stealing money because he wants to steal money.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
There
But
we
yeah,
go.
a really enjoyable
We still had a
number.
good time, didn't we? Okay. Well,
Really.
thanks very much for joining us, Mikel. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, amazing. Where can our listeners keep up to speed with anything you're working on, any of your projects online?
Uh, I guess in
Well, we're all horror dudes together.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for listening. If you enjoyed the show, become a patron over at patreon.com/horror hangout. Thanks to Taj Easton for our theme music. Thanks to Acast and Rusty Quill for hosting the show. Please consider giving us a rating or review. We're on Threads, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube, or go to horrorhangout.co.uk for everything in one place. And as we previously mentioned, next week we're talking Clown in a Cornfield with Mark Walker, another person we met at Screams by the Sea. We're making friends all over the place.
Yeah. We haven't even exhausted the people that we met there that we've invited on, so look forward to many more of them for weeks and months to come.
Hell yes. Well, thanks, guys. It's been a pleasure. Be
Thanks,
careful.
everyone. In the meantime, everyone, like if you do find yourself at a shady, get the frustration set out, and maybe a game of giant Scrabble. Who knows? There you go.
Pray they're gooey vampires and stab them with a Jenga brick.
Exactly. It's good advice.
Sharpen those Jenga bricks.